What's up, guys? CyberHoudini here, and welcome to a very special daily dose of gaming. It is officially E3 2021 week. We are blasting off. This is Christmas for gamers, and I'm so excited. So, in true tradition, like I do every year, we're going to do a little bit of an E3 live prediction stream, basically going over what we think is going to happen, some rumors floating around each of the big three, Xbox, Sony, and of course, Nintendo, who always like to close out E3. And then we're going to follow this stream off with, we're going to do some Ratchet and Clank from 2016, because we're going to have Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart coming out on Friday for PS5, so I thought it'd be pretty cool. It's also like the first Ratchet and Clank game I have played on the channel, but I have played through all of them back on PS2, so it's kind of cool that we get to do this. I have not played the 2016 one. I know I had a lot of issues. A lot of people were streaming it straight from the console, and it was getting blue screened. We won't have that issue today. Boop. I think it was because of the Ratchet and Clank movie. So that'll be exciting. So yeah, it's weird that they're releasing the game directly on E3. That's never usually a good sign, because everybody's so preoccupied with E3, you know. It's super tough to get like reviews out there. It's super tough just to get playtime out there. But yeah, it's exciting times. Things don't officially kick off till the 10th of June, which is this Thursday. That'll be the Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, which is kind of, it's all going to be digital now, so it's a little bit different than usual. But still, the hype is definitely there. How is it going, guys? Dynamite DPG, welcome on in. Nice and early. How was everyone's weekend? I hope you're all excited. What do you guys want to see the most? Let me know. Whether you're here in the live stream or watching afterwards, let me know in the comments below. I love it. Life is Strange 2 Episode 1. Yeah, that's so good. That game is fantastic. I think it's still the best of the series. It was one of those stories that was important time to tell it as well, especially with how Trump and all the ICE stuff was going on. It's like, fucking hell. Anyway. Yeah, there's also Tell Me Why is completely free as well for the month of June, so grab that. I don't think that's on PlayStation though. I'm not too sure. Things are crazy right now. I love it. But yeah, I hope these are going good. I watched Conjuring 3. Very nice. Very nice. Not scary at all. Yeah, I think it's another one of those movies. They keep doing it with each of the Conjuring movies. It leads into other movies, spin-offs and that. So the actual Conjuring movies themselves are not that good anymore, which is so sad, you know. First one was amazing, but now they're just what they would call launch vehicles, where they launch other movies off. It's kind of what's going on with the MCU. So the MCU brings out a big motherfucking movie, right? And then they launch 10,000 other side movies and shows on Disney Plus from it, and then you realize that the actual movie that they brought out was a pile of crap, you know, kind of like Age of Ultron, which in my personal opinion was the lowest point of the Avengers movies. And just for me, you know, other people might have liked it. I just thought it was extremely just lackluster. But we'll see how things are going. Like, they're now pushing heavily forward into like the Eternals and all the shows and that. So yeah, it's a roller coaster ride with ups and downs. That is the MCU. You're gonna have good shows and bad shows. And nothing will stop this train. It's $1 billion franchise every single time something comes out. Not even once a year. I'd say they make over $100 billion a year, I'd say, at this point. It's crazy. Instead of just adding like an Avengers to Disneyland, they can have their own Avengers land, you know. It's insane. I didn't like, yeah, just for me, I could see where they were going with it, but after watching like Iron Man 2 and 3, it felt like a carbon copy of that story. This whole thing once again of Tony's suits getting out of control is just ridiculous. Of all the stories to pick. Anyway, enough of that. Did you see recently they talked about wanting to combine the Spider-Man and MCU universe, including like Venom and that? I think that's pretty cool. That could be very cool. They could easily use video games for that as well, because it is highly rumored that the next Spider-Man 2, will involve Venom and the symbiote suit, and all that good stuff, and Peter Parker. So I'm excited for that. Alright, cool. Kind of falling into movies and that, I love it. You guys been playing anything or watching anything lately? So we're going to kick things off. I have a massive list of predictions here. We're going to kick things off with June 10th, which is the Summer Game Fest. Let me see if this works. I've been messing around with hotkeys, trying to make this a little bit easier on myself. See if it actually works. Boop. Okay, it does. Beautiful. Yay. Yeah, something actually worked. awesome. It seems simple, like OBS lets you use hotkeys, but there's one little issue. You have to like assign the direct motherfucking scene, you know? And if you change the name of that scene or change anything in the scene, it ceases to function. So anyway, so yeah, these are the times, like, this is all of course subject to change a little bit, but the Summer Game Fest, when it's meant to have about 20 to 30 different games. It's going to be hosted by Jeff Keighley, and you know, these games could be some big stuff. He does the Game Awards. He knows a lot of big names in the industry, including the one and only Hideo Kojima, and I know he is meant to be working on his next game, and it's meant to be an Xbox exclusive. We'll see how that goes. Maybe he wasn't overly pleased with the performance sales-wise of Death Stranding. I'd say it did pretty well. Now that he's out on his own with Kojima Productions, it's always going to be a little bit tougher to get the capital ready to make games. You know, we're talking $100 million. So I could see him why he'd want to go exclusive with this one or that one. We'll see how that goes. You know, Kojima, traditionally more Japanese-style games, very unique vision-wise. I don't know how it would fit on Xbox, but who knows? Who knows? We'll see about that. Hell yeah. So, also, the next little thing I saw pop up was that Gearbox are going to have a game showed at the Summer Game Fest. We know that Gearbox are part of, you know, 2K and Take-Two, so they're not going to have their own, like, big traditional live streams, so they're going to probably find ways to get into other bigger streams, you know. And this game that they're talking about is meant to be a brand new Borderlands game, a spin-off game with Tiny Tina. Oh yeah, before we get started, I should have said it, but you know, definite like possible spoilers ahead. So if you're one of these people who would rather just wait for the E3 announcements themselves, you know, not spoil yourself, I can completely understand if you want to turn away. That's okay, because some of this stuff, it's all rumors for now. It might never come true, but sometimes they hit the nail on the head and a lot of stuff gets leaked on purpose, you know, like what Ubisoft do. So yeah, if you just, I know we're only a couple of ways out, but it's always cool. So yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for that. I think it's time for Tiny Tina to definitely have her moment in the sun. You know, she was a huge part of the series. She even got the incredible DLC, which is the trailer that's playing right now, which was the Assault on Dragon Keep, which is basically like Dungeons and Dragons, but we were in the game itself. It was a really, really clever idea. It was like close to what they'd done with like Far Cry Blood Dragon. When I love when Ubisoft actually, when they let them think outside the box, they really come up with some genius stuff. We haven't seen much of that. Oh no, that's not Ubisoft. Sorry, but yeah, that's what I liked. This is not Ubisoft, but that's what I liked about Far Cry Blood Dragon, when the big guys let them think outside the box. Because when you're stuck making the same shit, all you get is Killzone 4, Killzone 5, Killzone Shadowfall. When they finally let the spread and use those creative muscles, you get things like Horizon Zero Dawn, you know, which is now becoming an incredible, huge franchise. Whereas Killzone just kind of fell flat even after the second game. But yeah, so I'm super excited for this. Gearbox, you know, they've been kind of ups and downs lately, you know. They've done a lot of kind of games, and Borderlands 3 was very, very mediocre, you know. Still fun, but mediocre as hell. Jesus Christ. And then recently they also did, what was it called? Godfall? Shit, damn, I got a splinter in my hand. It's completely distracted the crap out of me. Oh my god. Sorry, yeah, I think it's Godfall, which was meant to be a launch game, you know, for the next gen consoles, and it's kind of, it is what it is kind of thing. It's a good kind of, you know, with games like War, oh my god, this thing is really distracting me, I'm sorry. Damn, this is the worst time. How did I not see this before I started streaming? Who knows? And things like, you know, games where you're, like, you can play games for free and that, you know, you're not going to go out there and pay $80 for something that's probably done better by a free-to-play game. But yeah, I'm excited for this. It's meant to be called Wonderlands instead of Borderlands, which is very clever. I think if that's the case, we probably will be going down this pseudo kind of Alice in Wonderland, but with Tiny Tina, you know. Whether she'll be a playable character or not, I'm not too sure. I have heard a rumor that there will be like 4 playable characters, but as you can see with the pre-sequel or the prequel, we had like Claptrap, right? Didn't we? yeah, so we'll see if that'll happen. That was their last kind of spin-off game. Definitely didn't have the best reception, but this could be different. Now, I had been saying that Borderlands 3's DLC was extremely lackluster. Like, nothing there at all really caught me at all. Compared to, like, the DLC from the first and second game was just a knockout of the park every time. So it's clear that this Tiny Tina Wonderlands was probably meant to be a big DLC, and it just became way bigger than they thought, and then, you know, now it's become its own game. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited for that. You know, it feels like it's probably something that should probably launch for like a $40 or something. We'll see. And it'll probably be this fall as well. So that'll be nice. Hell yeah. Well, the way it's going, it'll probably at the Summer Game Fest we'll probably see a lot more of it. Damn it! I picked the one trailer that you don't actually see her face until the end. What a fucking jip! God damn it! Let me see. Is there a better one than that? Down, 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 down. I just wanted a trailer with Tiny Tina in it. Maybe we can do this one with her best bits. But she's definitely changed the good bits since what we know her as. You know, this guy's put a nice little. Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway, so yeah, like. I'm excited for that. Like, the Summer Game Fest will have like 20 to 30. Fuck's sake, YouTube, you're a disgrace. They will have 20 to 30 games out. Why do I even use this website anymore? So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to there. As a way of kicking off E3, Jeff Keighley knows how to bring the games, but he also knows how to bring the cringe a little bit. Oh yeah, the Harry Potter film collection. Nice, I saw that, yeah. Hopefully we'll hear more about the Hogwarts Legacy game. I know Warner Brothers don't exactly have their own little stream, but they seem to have something going on. They have a lot of games people are super excited for, including Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. They also, yeah, Hogwarts Legacy. So they've a lot cooking for sure. I would like to see some good stuff from them. Bum bum. And yeah, if Kojima even shows off a little bit of his new game, that would be cool. Expect a lot of kind of indie games as well, and PC games. That'll be fun. So that's kicking off, let's see, 7 p.m. my time. That's pretty much perfect for my stream. Hell yes. The way things are going to go, this is going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Now, anything that comes after that, I probably won't cover, but I'll do my best to cover everything in between then, with streams on Saturday and Sunday, which I don't usually do. So that'll be nice. What I'll do is I'll probably just go live right before each big stream happens. Things are kind of weirded out. Like, I thought these developers would be more ready, but they're clearly not. Like, we watched some of the reveals of, like, Far Cry 6 and Horizon Zero Dawn, or Horizon Forbidden West, and they just can't seem to get their shit together. All their streams were, like, behind, or they were counting down to a countdown, and, oh, for fuck's sake. It's so weird. It's so scuffed. But that's usually how things go. It's one of those years where, like I said, everybody's just excited to get going, but it's one of those years where we're still not quite out of the pandemic. So it's like trying to get a car started. It's a little bit scuffed, so we have to kind of put up with that. I would expect a lot of these streams to be half broken or not working, but it's still exciting times. Yeah, let's see if Hogwarts Legacy actually comes out. I'm a little bit worried that they might cancel it or rename it, thanks to the horrible stuff that's been coming out. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where you're like, we've spent 3 years. I feel bad for the developers. Like, we've spent 3 years making this game, and then Crazy Bitch said something on the internet and almost ruins 3 years of work. I feel bad for them. Alright, cool. So that will be that. Yeah, who knows how long these will go on for. There's no real point in trying to figure it out. Like, sometimes they'll say it's an hour and a half, which usually runs over. But we'll see. We shall see. We'll also have things like the PC gaming show, the future gaming show. There's the Steam Next game. There's so many. There's even one called the Wholesome E3 presentation, which is hilarious. We'll also have like Devolver Digital doing those things, the anti-establishment E3 stuff, which I love. So very, very busy times. I'd say with more going on over the next week than we had even last year, which went over like months and months. Luckily enough, I think it's probably a good thing, but EA seem to have pushed all their stuff back to the end of July, so we don't even have to even hear the word FIFA until then, which is great. But we will see some more of Battlefield 6, which is going to be just called Battlefield, on June 9th. That's going to be a big blowout for that. I won't be streaming that or anything, but we'll see lots of that probably at the Xbox. That's probably the one I'm most excited for, is Xbox, because they have so much stuff to show. You know, it's going to be a joint stream with Xbox and Bethesda. It's going to be fucking wild. And with everything going, this is the way I see it. Like, if you saw a game last year or 2 years ago and it's still not out, just know that whatever they show this year, if it's not those games, you're getting these games and those games and the games from, you know. So everyone just gets pissy about that, but you're like, dude, it doesn't mean it's cancelled, it doesn't mean it's disappeared. We're working hard on it. Now you have more room for more games. It's awesome. Alright, cool. On to the next day. Let's see, so Friday, which way can I go? That's over this way? Okay, cool. Friday, we're going to have a stream from Koch Media. I think that's what they're called, or Koch Media. And they basically own Deep Silver. Now, they have said that some of these games are not going to show up at E3, but you know how it goes. We'll have some little hint. And the fact that they've mentioned them at all means that they're very much still in development. We know that we've all been wanting a new Saints Row, and Saints Row 5 is heavy in development. I'd actually say, like, if Saints Row 5 doesn't come true, and they're probably taking a little bit extra time to, if it doesn't come true, then they're going to be in a lot of hot water, old volition, because it was true that kind of Saints Row 4, although everyone loved it, it was kind of didn't leave that much, you know, fun afterwards, and then they just re-released it over and over and over. There's over like 17 versions of the goddamn game. So yeah, it's clear that everybody wants them to go back to like Saints Row 2 or Saints Row 3 vibes. You know, leave the kind of the over comedy, you know, leave that to 4. Kind of take things back a little bit. And their last game, Agents of Mayhem, was a complete and utter disaster. So, yeah, you don't get too many mistakes like that. You fuck up like that, and you're kind of, yeah, you can be in trouble pretty fast as a developer. So I wish the best for them. I'd like to see them go back. Like, it doesn't have to, like, Saints Row 2 was still heavy into the Saints gang, and that was closer to San Andreas. You know, they don't have to go fully back to that. We still kind of like what they're going on, got going on with the colors and that. But here's the thing, like, Saints Row 3... the first, like, half of that game is not jumping the shack. It's still kind of cool. You got, like, a bank heist, and it's a bit of fun. Then it just gets a bit ridiculous. Now, with Dead Island 2, just like Dying Light 2, it became this kind of vaporware game. Like, did it exist? Will it ever come out? Like, what's going on with it? We know that now Dying Light 2 is back with a bang, and we're getting a December release date for that, December 7th, which is amazing. So I would fully expect Dead Island 2 to have some kind of big reveal. You know, whether it's sometime this year or over E3, we'll see. Because I know both of those teams were once one, you know, back when Dead Island did huge. The story behind Dead Island would be an interesting one to tell, you know, in terms of development. Because it was one of those games that clearly bit off more than it can chew. It's still a super fun zombie game, but it was never like, you know, AAA in my experience. The thing that started it all, that made it truly viral, was that incredible trailer. They did this really cool trailer. It was all shot in slow-mo, in reverse. And IGN just, like, so much clickbait of it, like, you know. And it was a really great trailer. They just picked this perfect song for it. And, yeah, if you watch it even now, it still holds up. It was amazing. Now, the game was nothing really like the trailer at all, you know. When we first saw it, you know, you were expecting something along the lines of something like, you know, Last of Us. Obviously, Last of Us wasn't out by then. But you know what I mean? That kind of, we're like, wow. Whereas, when we eventually got it, it was just your basic first-person melee kind of stuff. But it's still super fun. But yeah, IGN rolled that trailer into the ground. You couldn't move without it being everywhere. And so, from there, something as simple as one viral trailer turned into one of the most hotly anticipated games. It came out, kind of like, okay, you know. Not quite as good as something like Dead Rising, but not bad game by any means. And then they quickly shouted out Dead Island Riptide, which was a pseudo-sequel, just with more boats. It felt like an expansion game, you know. And then ever since then, it's clear that there's been a lot of turmoil. The team split off, and then Techland came along and they made Dying Light, which I think is the premier zombie game. So I'm excited for Dying Light 2. So we'll see with Dead Island 2. We'll see what happens. I'm still excited. The trailer we had for that was set in California, and it had a very kind of like West Coast vibe with zombies. Now this trailer is wicked old as well. Like this is like going on 6-7 years old, and I'll tell you how long we've been fucking waiting for this thing. But it still looks really cool. We have had some like leaked gameplay and leaked screens, so it is in active development, but it has changed hands so much. You know, obviously we want the game to come out. It's really cool. For some reason, I get this like massive Jack Black vibe, you know. I'd love to see a character voiced by him in this game. There's something about it. It's got that vibe just on the West Coast. And I actually like the idea that they're going for the West Coast. Imagine if we could like turn some of these YouTubers into zombies, man. It'd be great. Just punch them into oblivion. Anyway, yeah, speaking of YouTubers, anyone watch that fight last night? Oh my god, what a disaster. But it was clear that it was done for money. Something like $20 million each just to hug each other for 5 minutes. Good god. I feel bad for anyone who paid $50 to watch that shit. But yeah, still pretty cool like to see someone come from YouTube to fight someone like Floyd Mayweather. It's like, Jesus. Damn. That's the impressive part, not the fight itself. But yeah, we'll see. I think it's pretty cool to have a game set on the West Coast. Like the closest thing we've had to this was actually Dead Rising 3, which mainly took place at night, so you couldn't really tell, but it still had a cool kind of West Coast vibe, West Coast suburbia vibe with some palm trees and that. And I really like Dead Rising 3. I've got a lot of kind of great memories with that game. You know, I don't think it's as good as Dead Rising 2, but it really went out of its way to try, you know, which was way better than Dead Rising 4. Dead Rising 3 in co-op is fantastic as well. The reason I have so much memories connected to it, it was the start of a new generation with the Xbox One. I remember going to Dublin. It was a big thing for any of these companies to ever like bring, you know, conferences to Ireland. So for me to go there and able to check it out, and they had all these games that you could try out, like what was that what's that game called? It's like Brothers. No, yeah, it was maybe Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and a couple others. But I just sat there over and over again and just played Dead Rising. I only had like a 20-minute demo, but I didn't even care. So this trailer is pretty cool. It's not as cool, I'd say, as their initial trailer that they had, but I still think it's pretty, and it's kind of more comedy based as well. We know Dead Island 1 takes place a lot in a lot of tourist hotspots in like the Pacific Islands and that. I didn't even know the fight was last night. Yeah. Sorry, you didn't miss anything, dude. You did not miss a single thing. It's so sick. It was an expedition. What's it called? This exposition fight. I think that's it. I can never pronounce half of those words. But it basically just means like a fun fight. You know, it's not meant as anything. It's like when two football teams just get together out of nowhere, where they have no hope of ever beating each other. I mean, clearly the weight classes were all over the place. You know. Yeah, Logan Paul was like 30 or 40 pounds heavier than Floyd, and you wouldn't have that in a real boxing fight, you know, it's just not allowed. And then you've got the fact that Logan Paul was also like almost a foot taller than, you know, Floyd Mayweather as well, and that usually doesn't happen either, because, you know, it's actually bad on like both sides, where you'll have like the taller person like stretching that. But anyway, he burnt himself out quick. By the end of the third round, he was done. So they just started a big hugging fest for the next 5 rounds. But he lasted all 8 rounds. But it was clearly all done purposely, you know, for the money. I mean, I think there was like over 120 million earned, like just brought in. They got like 20 million each and everyone else got paid. So mad bank. But as soon as I saw Floyd come out with an OnlyFans hat on, I was like, alright, okay, I know what this is. So I don't think anyone threw the fight, you know. But I really do think that Floyd held back. He could have absolutely laid him out for the rest of his life, but I didn't. Anyway, someone's streaming. You can see the fighting reflection of his glasses. Yeah, I saw that. Someone else did it in a mirror as well. They can't help themselves. Sure, there was Twitch channels going up and down, up and down. It's crazy. Even Twitter, they were trying to delete everything. So yeah, and but I'm excited for the next Saints Row. This is what I said about all these games like Dead Space and Dead Rising and the zombie games. They stand on their own, you know, and we need these kind of games. And the same with Saints Row and Mafia and Godfather and these kind of games. It takes so long for a GTA game to come out that we rely and love these kind of games. That's why when Watch Dogs first came out, I was so happy, even if it was clear that they were chasing that GTA vibe, especially with the second one. But do you think I care? It takes that long that it was so cool to have something like that. Watch Dogs 2 is awesome. So, yeah, that's what's going on Friday. Let me see, is there anything else? Some days have a couple of streams, and some just have the one big one, you know? No. Okay, so the next one is Saturday. This will be Ubisoft. Now, there's a lot of turmoil going on lately with Ubisoft, basically about how they are treating their staff, and there's a lot of lawsuits going on, and even me trying to show off Far Cry 6, I got some, like, weird messages on Twitter and that. So, yeah, there's a lot of shit going on. Obviously, I don't support any of that shit. Like, they need to sort their stuff out, probably by starting off by getting rid of that CEO, because it starts at the top, you know what I mean? It's clear. And every single studio suffers from this. There's no one exempt from the mistreatment of any of their employees. Every single... And it's not just in the game industry either. It's in every industry. So hopefully we can sort that out, you know? Jesus Christ. But, you know, me playing their games does not mean I'm supporting that, you know? And you can't... If a game has been worked on by 300 people and you got 5 bad apples, you can't punish all 3 people. That's how YouTube and Twitch do things. It's like blanket banning stuff. And it's never worked out, and it never will. So me not buying a game or not playing a game doesn't help anybody at all. So this right now, what we're showing off is Beyond Good and Evil 2, which, you know, looks completely different than the first game. But this game has long been in development. It's done by Ubisoft Montpellier, who did like Rayman and that, and obviously the first Beyond Good and Evil. Now, recently, I think Michel Ancel, who is the creator of Rayman and Beyond Good and Evil, has left Ubisoft. So who knows what is going on with this game. This trailer itself is already like fucking nearly, what is it, 4 years old? Boop, right there. It's so hard when you're mirrored. So we'll see. It looks extremely ambitious. I watched him. He actually debuted a lot of the gameplay, and he was going for something like just massive, to the size of No Man's Sky in terms of space exploration, but having the power of zooming in and playing at that high detail. It was almost like watching Google Earth, but with like Google Galaxy or something, you know. It was pretty impressive and very ambitious for a team his size, you know. I think this, out of Ubisoft's games, this is probably still my most anticipated. I'm a little bit worried, like, we have this Space Monkey character, as he's called, but he has a heavy British accent, which is kind of weirdly off-putting, you know. It's like Cockney almost. And we saw how that went down with the narrator in Biomutant. It's always fun for a second, but it really starts to just kind of grate on you after a while. It's always best that if you're going to go with a voice character, not to have it too distinguishing. Like, Jesus H. Christ. Maybe that's why people pick Troy Baker so much, because you're just kind of so used to his voice, and it's just... But anyway, this looks cool. Like, Beyond Good and Evil is still one of the greatest, like, PS2 gems most people miss. And there was space exploration in that game, just to the point of going out into the orbit and that, you know. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they haven't completely, you know, gotten rid of everything we know about it. The issue I have with it is when you go for such a huge scope, do you end up losing your original vision? The reason so many games were incredible back on PS2 is because they did so much with so little, you know? So when you had these 3D worlds and 3D platformers, for them to have those kind of worlds was downright impressive. Hatchery last night was watching someone play Jedi Fallen or listen to the Star Ocean. Oh, nice, dude. That must have been a nice combination. Star Ocean till the end of the time. That one deserves a remake. For real, like straight up remake. I love those games. I tried playing 4. It's really rough. Oh, Jesus. And then 5 I just have not played, because they burnt me out. But till 3 till the end of the time. I still have like a special collector's edition over there somewhere. It came with an extra whole disc and everything, which was nice. Alright, so yeah, well, let's see. Ubisoft, where am I? Boop. Yeah, so we're obviously going to see lots and lots of Far Cry 6, you know. That's what they're going to be going for. This game is coming out in October, for God's sake. There has been talks of a lot of third-person sections, which is kind of a little bit of a first for Far Cry 6. I'm excited for it. There's a little bit of talk of there being no arcade mode or no map editor, so I would assume that they're either going to show that off or explain why it's not there, because that's a huge part of Far Cry now. So for them not to have that is foolishness. They just did a huge reveal of it not that long ago, and it looks fantastic. So I would say we'll get a massive gameplay, maybe some co-op or something. I don't know. What I'd like to see is them return to the cool DLC they did for 5, you know? Obviously, it's very early to talk DLC. I'm actually weirdly excited for the horse riding. Is that weird? I don't know. I really am. I might even spend a lot of my gameplay on horseback. I don't know why I like it. I feel like a lot of games that do have horseback, especially in like more first person or cinematic and that, they don't utilize it well enough, you know? I think Red Dead Redemption 2 did a great job, but they kind of shot themselves in the foot with too much realism, with falling off the thing every now and then. And then you've got things like Last of Us Part 2 that you just wanted to kind of chill on the horse for a bit, but yeah, you don't get enough time with the horse, that's all I'll say. So I would like to see what happens there. As long as you can shoot off the back of it, I'm cool. I'm excited for this. Like I said, I do worry about the fact that will it be unique enough, you know? Far Cry 4, in my personal opinion, suffered greatly by feeling like an expansion to 3, you know? It just, to me, it just did not separate itself enough. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Like, what do you do in terms of where do you set these games, you know? What setting? It's a tough one. Because 5 came all the way back to America. Nothing too exciting about that, right? But it was the fact that it was completely landlocked. This whole cult, like, they really did. They shaped their world around these incredible protagonists, right? And antagonists, you know, the whole Seed family. It really was awesome. Rather than the other way around, where it's all about the world. Hopefully, it seems like we're going to have a big mix of that. Ubisoft have been well known for a long time, and nearly in all their games now, to have some kind of political message, you know, or political. And it got so bad back in the day that they had to start saying, like, we at Ubisoft, we're from different creeds, religions, genders, and political views, and all this bollocks. Basically covering their ass with a big old fucking diaper, you know. And and it never really covered up anything. It just allowed them to push forward with you know. So with 5, the controversy was, especially around that time, where there was just an incredible amount of misuse of guns in America, you know. Just horrible stuff that's still going on to this day. And obviously with Far Cry 6 being set in South America, we're talking about you know, libertad and revolutions, and it's definitely taken a massive you know, page out of all of these revolutionaries like Che Guevara and that, you know. So it's interesting. I want to believe that Ubisoft do it because they want to tell that story, but in another side of things, it makes me feel like they do it for the controversy. That they push the controversy to sell their game. Like, it was very clever what they did with Watch Dogs in a world that was getting increasingly scared by the NSA, the FBI, and all this. They really pushed that. They really did. But so did Infamous. Infamous Second Son. I'll never forget that trailer. It started off like Watch Dogs. It was like, you're being watched right now. Everywhere you look, everywhere you shit, they're watching you. And then it just goes into Infamous jumping around, shooting fireballs. I'm like, what the fuck? So that was one of the weirder trailers. But I'm excited for this. Absolutely. Like, we always talk about the, what's it called? The ludonarrative dissidence, where you're just blowing shit up, and what you do in gameplay and what's happening in the story are two completely different things. Video games have always suffered from this. It's so funny. Like, that's why we make jokes about your ass backpack, where you can literally fit giant flamethrowers in a tiny backpack, or where you can take 608 bullets to the face and get back up, but one shot in a cutscene and you are dead, you know? So that's what I'm talking about. But even though this is just a gameplay disparity, it also is a narrative disparity where you have, like, it kind of fucks with your brain a little bit, you know? You play enough of these games and you definitely do get desensitized to violence, you know? But most people know that what is reality and what is video games, but unfortunately there's a small amount of people who don't, you know, who have trouble, and that's why you have these horrible things going around where they blame video games for violence and that, where it's not about video games and it's not even about violence. It is about mental health. Straightforward. These people need help. Anyway, I'm getting off base here, but it's just interesting to if there's ever a game to talk about that it's so politically charged as Far Cry games and so violent as Far Cry games, you know, we all just want to have fun, you know. We're not going to go out there and start taming crocodiles and send them after people. Maybe people do. It sounds like a Florida thing to me. Hello, Bernie. How's it going? How was your weekend, man? Yeah, hopefully we'll see some good Star Wars stuff. The way things are going, actually, like Ubisoft Massive are meant to be working on a big Star Wars game, so we'll see how that goes. I enjoyed Far Cry New Dawn. That was like their little pseudo expansion. You know, if you pick that game up for $10, $20, it's totally worth it. It's colorful. It's a little after, you know, Far Cry 5. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I can't say they did really anything wrong with Far Cry 5 in my opinion. You know, like I said, the DLC was really cool, going up into space and going back to Vietnam, all that, and then to get New Dawn as a kind of an expansion. You know, if we can get something like that, I'm just desperate to go back to Far Cry Blood Dragon. I even mentioned it earlier by accident, but it was such a great idea. And you know how, like, the 80s will never die and neon can never fade, so it'd be very cool to have it fully fleshed out. And I feel like maybe after this game, or if this game doesn't do well, I don't see why it wouldn't. Seems fine. I'm hoping that the world isn't too big. It is set on a giant island this time, whereas Far Cry 5 was landlocked because it was like, you know, mainland America. We'll see. You know how I feel about maps these days. I'm asking for more detailed, tighter maps. Not necessarily smaller. Smaller is kind of good though, but tighter. The only word is tighter. Instead of like having vast fucking mountains and shit that there's nothing there, you know, then why not just make them a little bit smaller and more detailed? Already this seems like, as you go into these cities, does seem to have a lot of NPCs doing stuff and that. I like that, you know. I instead of like a mountain range that I could explore, I would much rather a city where I can walk into every building and people are doing stuff and it's a new business. This is a bar, this one's a nightclub, this one's a cafe, you know? That's what I would prefer. I want to see this kind of stuff. And I feel like games don't do that enough. So we'll see with Far Cry 5. They're definitely pushing for the female antagonist, but you will be able to play as male or female. Whereas we had Boomer in Far Cry 5, this one definitely is our little buddy Chorizo. In his little wheelchair, God bless him. And we're also going to have El Guapo, the alligator, who seems to have a golden tooth, which is so funny. There's a big emphasis on crafting weapons, as you can see there. Going to the Macarena gun, which is everybody blowing up, talking about that one. It looks pretty cool. You know, it's a big feature for games like Dead Island and Dying Light and Dead Rising. You know, having such a heavy kind of craft and make your own weapon. Even Biomutant took that on as well. So I'm excited for that. We'll see where that goes. You know, it depends. Like, if you go too deep with these systems, people get lost. And if you don't go deep enough, people just don't bother. So it's super tough to get that right. They look pretty fun, though. A lot of people are calling it first person just cause. And I can understand that. I mean, you've got just this crazy action and jetpacks. And then you've got, like, South American settings. So, yeah, I understand that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Alright, weekend was decent, doing fine. Lovely, lovely. So we're going over our predictions for E3. It's kicking off on June 10th, this Thursday, and it'll be rolling all the way through to the following Tuesday. I'll be live streaming each stream, and we're just going over things now, what we think is going to happen. Ubisoft is a pretty big one, so we just talked about Beyond Good and Evil 2. Now we're talking about Far Cry 6. That's probably going to be, you know, huge for Far Cry 6. I would love to see a new Rayman. There's talks of a new Splinter Cell coming in some way, like maybe teaming up with the what's it called, Tom Clancy's Wildlands and Breakpoint and all that. So we'll see. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake got heavily delayed, and it seems like it probably won't come till next year. We'll see about that. I know a lot of people were very unimpressed with the character models, so it's probably okay to give them time. Hopefully, if it does well, they'll remake the other ones as well, like kind of what's going on with Crysis right now. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, they do also have, like I said, that Star Wars stuff. That's probably a long way out, so that's cool. That's cool. We're getting a lot of licensed stuff coming back in a big way, and I'm super excited for that. Rayman recently, it started as a 2D game, then went fully 3D, great games on the Dreamcast, and then it went back to 2D with Origins and Legends, and I really would love to see them just finish out that trilogy. Now, with Michel Ancel gone, who knows? He was meant to be working on this game called Wild since like 2015, and I never knew what happened to that game. Crazy! Anyway, what are you guys looking for the most? What's that big game you want to see? Whether it comes out this year or not. What's that big game? Alright, next up, on Sunday, June 13th, we have Xbox and Bethesda. They'll be doing a dual stream. I think it's going to be a pretty long one. Probably not the biggest showing for Bethesda, but as much as everybody wants to see that. Hell yeah. So starting off with Xbox, obviously it's going to be an absolutely huge year for Halo Infinite. There's no messing around. The rumored release date is September for this one. They delayed it almost by a full year because of backlash. Basically, people weren't too happy with how it looked. This is probably going to be the first time that Halo has gone fully open world, and people don't really understand that, you know. Like, it's always been a pretty big game, you know, big levels, but it's always been in levels very nicely hidden behind cutscenes, you know. But this one, we're going to be, you know, fully able to explore a Halo ring, you know, a Halo planet. So it's kind of cool. But, you know, this has to be the showpiece for Xbox Series X, you know. It's their main series. It's also, you know, everything they've pumped into it going back 20 years. They're celebrating 20 years of Xbox, and a lot of that started with Halo, you know. So this has to perform. This has to look like this, you know, this would be like, this is like Sony's Uncharted, basically. It has to look incredible. Do I think it's going to look overly different than what they showed off before? No, I don't think so. I don't genuinely think they can do too much. Like, when it comes to open world games, it's not a cop-out or anything. They do tend to lose just a little bit of fidelity, just the way it goes, unfortunately. Because when they first show these things off, they are like demo reels, they're done on crazy PCs, and they're usually just a slice. And it's very easy to make a slice of game look incredible versus what you're actually going to play, you know. So you're always going to get the unfortunate, like as we know it now, as the downgrade, right? But I don't think this will get a downgrade. I just think it'll just look slightly better. The rumor is that they're going to show off a lot of multiplayer. A huge part of Halo, for everybody, a lot of memories, including myself, Halo 2 days, was the multiplayer, you know. And then we had the Horde mode as well. So they never just make a Halo game. Every component, I feel like more than any other game, every component of Halo has to be spot on, you know. And that's pretty tough. Like, they've done the Halo Master Chief Collection, and that took many years to get right. Right now, it's the best collection out there, bar none. But that took a long time. People were saying, like, at this point, Chief himself, Master Chief, he's going to be like 48 or in his 50s. So, you know, is it time to, you know, pass the torch or something? We'll have to see. That'll be a tough one to do for sure. But I mean, he is like, I don't think his age comes into it. He's already like this super soldier anyway, you know. If that's the case, then Captain America should be, you know, I don't know, that's a different story. Looking forward to Gotham Knights. Nice. Gotham Knights will be like first quarter next year, you know. February, March, April, something like that. I hope we're able to disable Cortana. Oh, yeah, exactly. They are meant to be showing off on new Windows. Isn't that wild? Horrible time to do that. Imagine if it crashes the internet or something in the middle of this. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I do love the Halo games. Halo Combat Evolved, the first one, still holds up so well. Even the side games. Now, in terms of the newer games, Halo 4, 5, it was Halo Guardians, and now Infinite. This is all done by 343 Studios and 343i, I think they're called. I don't know, they've definitely been trying to live up to the legacy of Bungie, and they haven't been able to quite get there, you know. But, you know, Bungie went on to do Destiny, and Destiny took a long time to get right as well. So it's a funny one. We'll see. I'm hoping this will be Master Chief's God of War moment, you know, where you go from those kind of old games and now you're just going to humanize Master Chief and really give us something to truly fight for instead of telling us what to fight for, right? Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's just going to be such a focus on graphics. I just want some goddamn meat, you know? I want some good stories. Yeah, we'll see. Interesting times. Alright, so, yeah, this is a big year for Xbox. Who knows how much they're going to show off. Really enjoying Far Cry 5 at the moment. Lovely. To be honest, the game I'm forward is Far Cry 6. Gotham Knights. Lovely, yeah. Gotham Knights, I'm hoping this delay does it well, because it really didn't wow me too much. My main issue with Gotham Knights is the 3 Robins. If they can't make them stand out, it's just going to be pointless. Batgirl seems to be doing her thing, though. It's kind of cool. So if it's a case where you're buying a game hoping down the line they add a new character, you're already dead out the water. Alright, so that let's see. So what else do we see for Xbox? I'm just going to stick to Xbox right now and then move and have Bethesda on its own, even though they'll probably be shown intermittently with each other, you know. Yeah, so the rumor is the new Kojima game is meant to be an Xbox exclusive. If they show that at the Game Fest, there's a good chance you may see some more of that, you know, at Xbox's show. You might even have like a little, you know, little speech from Kojima himself. We'll see. There's long since talk of him doing kind of a space game. He's had this cool Space Knight. He even has his own little name. That's been the logo of Kojima Productions for a while. Let's see about that. Let's see. Yeah, so September release date, I'd say, sounds pretty right. Now, November is like the 20-year anniversary for Xbox and Halo and everything, so it'd be stupid not to do it then, you know, around November 22nd, but I don't know. I don't know if we're going to do that. September could be right. So next up, we've got Forza. The Forza Horizon series has been doing amazing lately. Probably the premier racing series right now, even more so than Forza Motorsport itself. Now that's meant to be coming soon as well, but they're taking an awful long time. I'm a massive fan of the Forza Horizon series. I played the first like 3. Didn't get the newest one, because racing games on YouTube and Twitch are a little bit rough, I think. But yeah, the most recent one they've done. They've gone to places like Australia and the UK, and if you can make the UK seem exciting, Jesus, anything's possible. Same with Ireland, right? But apparently the rumor for Forza Horizon 5 is Mexico. Now it's funny that with Far Cry 6 we're going to South America as well, so we may see a lot of South America love. Now this could be a very nice chance to show up some really cool terrain, you know, maybe a lot of beach races. You know, you could go for that kind of Rio de Janeiro vibe, you know. You could go all the way up into the mountains as well. So when they pick these places, they want to make sure that they can deal with as many different terrains as possible, you know. Forza Horizon may not be a true like racing simulator, it's more arcade racing, but they've definitely kind of blurred the line definitely recently, and it's a beautiful series that just keeps getting more and more gorgeous. Those guys over at Playground Games are just incredible. Somehow they managed to fit in like all this weather and different terrain in the UK, which is really cool. You know, it definitely captured the UK super well. I know a lot of people want them. They've been pushing for an almost like a race creator, a race editor mode, very much like how things are in GTA, because it's almost there. People are already doing their own thing and creating these massive events. Pretty much for the launch of every Forza Horizon, they've tried to do these cool like gumball style races across like Europe and those, you know. So I'd love to see that happen again. It was super fun to watch all that. Yeah, so Forza Horizon, is it time to show off a new one? usually this would be time to show off Forza Motorsport, but it was clear that that one wasn't ready. Like, they even put these cool races in, they're like showpiece races, which feels like boss fights in a racing game. Now, we know Playground Games are also working on the heavily anticipated new Fable, the Fable Rebirth. Now, I know you might be saying, Jesus Christ, a racing studio doing a Fable game, but when you see something like the Forza Horizon 4 set in the UK, you can see a Fable. You can definitely see a Fable. Just turn the cars into people, which is the joke I keep making. But I'm super confident. I think Fable's still a long way off. I could see it maybe being, you know, big premiere title next year. But if they're able to do something like a new Forza game and be working on Fable at the same time, that's an incredible studio. Absolutely incredible. One of the bigger studios they have still in the UK. The UK, unfortunately, took a lot of heavy hits, including the old Fable studio, Lionhead, which I think a lot of them got absorbed into like Rare and probably Playground as well. You hate to see great studios disappear like that, like Visceral from Dead Space series, you know, and Lionhead, and any kind of talent, big talent in a country. You don't want to see them disappear, you know. A lot of the Canadian game development community is kind of shrinking as well lately, which, yeah, you don't want to see that happen, because there's a lot of great talent from around the world. You don't want them all coming out of Japan or all coming out of America. It's just not enough, you know. You want to see it all the world over. This is how we get incredible experiences. So yeah, I'm super excited to bring Fable back. I know I've spoken about Biomutant, but it definitely gives me that Fable vibe, which is not a bad thing at all. So this is the only little trailer we have so far, which, as you can tell, it's just literally just a little CGI piece. It doesn't tell us anything. It looks like they're, like most of their series, they're wanting to go back to just naming and almost like a reboot. A lot of stuff just is just called like its name now. Like, we got like Fable, we've got just Battlefield 6 being called Battlefield, you know. Halo Infinite, to me, they probably just wanted to call it Halo. You should have called the Xbox Infinite, especially to tie in with Halo. That's what I would have done. Anyway, also bought Shaun the Dead and Hot Fuzz. Lovely, lovely. Hell yeah. Now you're just missing At World's End for the full Cornetto trilogy. They're great. They're great. They'll never die. So yeah, I'd like to see something from Fable. I highly doubt we'd get gameplay, but it'd be nice to see a proper fleshed out trailer of some kind. A lot of people get pissy about E3 and CGI trailers, and I feel you on that for sure. But it's just the way things are going, and I would fully expect this one to be no different, especially the last year and a half we've had of COVID. You expect people to be able to get E3 trailers. Getting an E3 trailer together with gameplay can take upwards of 6 months of development time. That's development time that can go on the fucking game, you know, not on a slice. Anything that goes in an E3 demo does not tend to actually ever make it into the game or ever really be about the game, you know. It's a separate little thing. It still has, if it does end up being the same scene in a game, it's usually done separately. Do you understand? So it's a little slice that, obviously, this is why you have things like a downgrade and all that. It's because it's not from the same game, you know. So yeah, we'll see how that works. Me personally, I'd rather take a CGI trailer and actually get the game out, you know, within a year. Or what about, like, you know, you take a gameplay trailer and not see the game for another 2 to 3 years. So you gotta try and set your expectations right, you know. To me, I don't care if it's CGI or gameplay, because it just confirms the game is happening and that it's coming. And that's the most important part of all, because otherwise we're just nothing but rumors and speculation, and that gets us nowhere. You can rely on rumors and speculation for 10 years, hoping and wishing and praying on a game that never happens. Alright, on to, let's see, what else we got here. We got Rare. Rare, of course, are working hard on Sea of Thieves, but they also have a new game in development called Everwild, which also does seem to be another game centered around like multiplayer and that. Very, very Fable-esque as well. Looks absolutely gorgeous. I can't quite tell you what the game is about. It just seems to be a huge world, probably closer to something like an MMO, if I was to be honest. But, you know, Rare have a long, huge history of some incredible games. It's not the same Rare as back in the Nintendo days with Rareware, but if any studio is going to bring back some old IP, it is Rare. Recently we did get Battletoads, which was pretty cool. I'd like to see some more of that IP brought back, even if it's not done by Rare. So, you know, I've been desperate to see like Banjo-Kazooie come back, and especially Conquer. I don't think the world is able for Conquer anymore. I think the world is far too sensitive, you know. So this hungover little squirrel pissing on people, I don't know if he'd be able to do it, swearing his arse off, but I would love to see Conquer come back. We did get something called Young Conquer, which was a foolish endeavor, but this looks really unique, you know, and it looks gorgeous, and something that is to be made by like a British studio. Like you just wouldn't believe it, you know. This is something you'd see at Nintendo showcase, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So I am super excited to see what happens here. I'm really enjoying what's going on at Xbox right now. They seem to be allowing their studios to just do what they want, be creative, you know. I'm hoping that's the way. You really do get these unique experiences. Look at Grounded from Obsidian. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Never thought you'd be able to play a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of game. It's pretty cool. You already got World's End, but it's least favorite trilogy. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I feel you on that. I think there was a lot of falling out between the two of them at that point. Was it Nick Frost and Simon Pegg? Yeah. At that point, you know, you're starting to get a bit old yourself and a bit grumpy. So yeah, I'd like to see Rare, see what they'll do. You know, they'll probably have a big update for Sea of Thieves. It's doing amazing for them, especially with Ubisoft not being able to get Skull and Bones out. It's nice to see that we do have a cool pirate sim. I've played some Sea of Thieves and it's super fun with friends, super cool. So I'd love to see them maybe tackle like a single player or a big campaign story in that. But I don't know if that's what it's about. But yeah, that's Everwild. Probably nothing big coming from that till next year, but you might see some more. A lot of this stuff is what was shown off last year. Alright, let's see. So yeah, like I said, we have so much coming from Xbox. We also have Psychonauts 2, which I believe what's going on right now is people are saying that it's probably going to come out in August. It's done by Double Fine of like Psychonauts and Costume Quest and so many other games. Brutal Legend, incredible studio that Xbox own. I hope they get to make as many games they want. Psychonauts 2 looks absolutely fucking amazing. Oop, I didn't know Starbreeze was happening. Oh, there you go. I'm excited to play this. We need more. This is basically Xbox's Ratchet and Clank. You know, you hate to pit two series against each other, but let's be honest, that's what Xbox does. They tend to try and either create or buy up something to compete with the you know, the other studios. Like that's why they bought exclusivity to Tomb Raider at the time to try and compete with Uncharted. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, Psychonauts, these guys are amazing. You can see this as like a series on Double Fine are great on Netflix or something, you know. It looks amazing. Everything you're seeing now is like genuine gameplay. I don't know how they pulled it off. It really does feel like you know, in the style of like Coraline and all that, where you've got this one of a kind kind of wacky animation. So Psychonauts, if you don't know, it's a third person platformer. You can probably get it on Game Pass and that. Might even play it myself. But it's a great series. Definitely a lot different than your normal 3D platformers, where you go inside people's minds, hence why you're called a psychonaut. But it's funny, the psychonaut was used for something else in the 60s. It was for people who would do a lot of LSD and that. You call yourself a psychonaut, dude. But it's not all LSD, but it definitely does look like that. It's like the inner workings of your mind. Still a great game that holds up, and it's awesome to see that they're doing this. Alright. Next up, we have Hellblade 2 from Ninja Theory. Now, they have said they're probably not going to be showing up at E3. But I'd love to see something. They're hard at work right now. Very, very talented group. They also worked on Devil May Cry DMC. And also Enslaved Odyssey to the West. So Ninja Theory are a highly capable studio. Hellblade, a beautiful Norse hack and slash game that was so much more than that, you know. It was the perfect kind of examination of the human psyche, right? All done in this beautiful like Norse setting. So it's something that we were probably never meant to get a sequel for. Hence why it's called Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. The subtitles the other way around, you know. But here we go, and now it's looking like one of the most impressive looking games, next gen looking games, whatever you want to call it. It looks incredible. The story behind Senua and her voice actor and motion capture actress was really, really cool. She was the community manager, and there was a small team, and obviously trying to pay these big actors and motion captures actresses and that, it's very expensive work, you know. So lo and behold, they decided to use someone in-house, their own community manager, and it really worked out. And she has her own developer diary going on right now, where she shows you all the training she's going through. So with the first game, she did voice acting and motion capture, but in the second game, she's going full on with stunts, combat, voice acting, motion capture. She's taking it all aboard herself, and that's incredible. Talk about like a huge promotion, right? And she's worked hard for it, and everything you see in this trailer, you can tell the motion capture is amazing. Like, Senua looks insane. This is obviously Xbox's, you know, competition to God of War. Obviously, they must have seen this trailer, and this is a lot of these games you see coming out. You can tell that's why Xbox bought the whole studio, not just the game, you know, which is pretty impressive. These guys have so much talent that, you know, I'd love to see them go back to something like Enslaved, which was a really incredible game. It was part of the Alex Garland was the writer, and it was one of those huge moments for Andy Serkis and that, you know. YouTube can't help itself, get fucking ad in there, god damn it. But yeah, so and then being able to do like a huge action-packed hack and slash game like Devil May Cry as well. Maybe not everybody's favorite one. I enjoyed it, but I'm talking about the fact that they're capable of doing these things. You get me? So I would fully expect Hellblade 2 to be like huge open world, you know, or at least as big as God of War, because that's obviously what you know, they're going after. But it's doing its own thing. A lot of the Norse stuff lately has been just amazing. I love Norse. Like, Norse and Celtic have a lot of close ties together, so of course it's going to be near and dear to my heart. So I'm excited for this. This is definitely still a long ways out. That's what they've tried to tell people. Like, currently they're working on this cool cloud engine that just looks insane. But Senua, it had a very definite ending. So where they take this, and the fact that it's called Senua's Saga, it's clear that they probably have a trilogy in mind, you know. So we've had her sacrifice, now her saga, which is like a story. So you can go anywhere you want with that. And it looks like we've got a lot of like pagan shit going on too. So I'm super excited for that. I'd love to see like bosses. The combat in the first game was very simple in a good way. It was addictive and simple, and everybody could get the hang of it. And it worked. It worked flawlessly, and even played with our mind a little bit. Like, that kind of black stuff coming under our mount reminds me of the Rot again. But with the ending of it, without spoiling or anything, it definitely kind of led Senua onto a journey into her own psyche, leaving some demons behind, but realizing that they'll always be with her, kind of thing, you know. So I'd love to see them play into that. Ninja Theory also have another game in development right now called Project Mara. Now, whether it's an actual game or not is still kind of, because they're working so much with you know, dealing with like mental health and just incredible motion capture and that, they've decided that this Project Mara, they want to blend them together. This is very similar to something like we saw with Kara, which from the Quantum Dream, the Detroit Become Human, and Kara, they ended up becoming part of Detroit Become Human. So it's pretty cool. This gives me like heavy Ex Machina vibes. We'll see. Right now it's still called Project Mara. It's still kind of very early days. A lot of this stuff is in real time, but yeah, it's cool that they're working on multiple things. For such a small studio, I just can't get over the amount of talent, you know. They're so good at managing their studio as well, that a lot of their motion capture is done in-house. They've just converted a boardroom, who the fuck needs a boardroom, right, into a motion capturing studio, and that's pretty impressive. So yeah, and I think recently they actually moved into new offices as well. Like, a lot of these studios have moved thanks to, you know, the acquisition with Microsoft. That obviously allows you to expand your teams, expand your studios so that you can have that cutting edge technology. So it's a very exciting times. You guys need to realize that these are all very much like grassroots. Like we're just at the start of a new generation. So the next 8 to 10 years of video games are just going to be out of this world. Like we're just launching into Unreal Engine 5 development as well. And look how far like Unreal Engine has come and how much we've done with Unreal Engine 4. Like you go and watch one of the very first Unreal Engine 4 games versus where we are now. It's super exciting times. It gives me goosebumps. Gives me goosebumps. Boop. Yeah, I will be talking about Game Pass in a minute. Pretty much every one of the first party games from Xbox will be coming to Game Pass. Now, me personally, I think this is unbelievable. I still can't believe that they're doing this. I don't think they're losing out money in any way, but it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. If they had just done Game Pass as it is and removed all the first party games, I wouldn't be too sour about that. It'd still be a great deal. But the fact that they put these brand new games on there, there's no competing with that. There's no way. Like, Sony are freaking out. They're even putting their games on PC just to kind of make up money lost, because some of these games, like Last of Us Part 2, taking $350 million to make. So it's just crazy right now. Yeah. So yeah, we went over Fable, Psychonauts 2, Hellblade 2. We should be able to see something from In Exile, who have done the Wasteland games. They're apparently working on a new FPS RPG, probably in they're the OG Fallout developers. Xbox went and bought that studio, so to see them working on this could be their Fallout. So here's the funny thing about Xbox: they're after buying a lot of these studios and making these games to compete, in the same space as other games, right? But then they went and bought Bethesda. So like, I don't know. It was one of the coolest things to do, but now you've almost got your own games competing with each other. So say Obsidian, they've got Outer Worlds, clearly competing with things like Fallout, right? Then you've got Avowed, or Avowed as I call it, which is going to be Obsidian's brand new like Skyrim killer, basically. It's set in I believe it's I want to say the Pillars of Eternity universe. I'd have to double check that. And this is all they were building these games way before, and we know that Obsidian and Bethesda have a little bit of bad blood there. They worked on Fallout New Vegas and that was it. But apparently one of the directors of Fallout New Vegas is working on his own game as well for Xbox. So you may see something like Fallout New Vegas come back, which would be wild. It would be absolutely wild. Let me double check. Is it set in the Pillars of a Universe? Sorry. Yep. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, but it's really cool. So Pillars of Eternity is usually a top-down RPG, Turned into what they're doing now is pretty cool. So Avowed, yeah. When they revealed the name, it was like Avo and then Wed, and I was like, what? So I brain farted and call it Avowed. But it looks amazing. This is obviously heavy CGI trailer right now. I'd love to see more from this. I think Obsidian are absolutely killing it. This is the same team that did South Park Stick of Truth. You gotta understand the amount of talent. Like, looking at the teams that Xbox have bought, they've been really clever with them. Really clever. The fact that you're able to like slide into different genres, that is super amazing. Most studios stick to like first-person shooters, third-person adventure games, things like that, Looking back at Naughty Dog, and they've highly stuck to third-person adventure games, Whether it's Jak and Daxter, Uncharted, Last of Us, just, third-person adventure games with shooting. And there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, this is a very small, very, very small tease, But you can definitely see some Skyrim influence there. We got magic on one hand, we got sword on the other. Got some big beasties. This is Avowed. This is from Obsidian. Obsidian are also probably, as the rumors go on, probably working on the Outer Worlds 2. Now recently, it's just been said that the publishing rights for the Outer Worlds has now shifted over to Microsoft, where recently it was a private division. So this basically means that Outer Worlds is completely and utterly owned by Xbox, published by Xbox, releasing on Xbox. That's kind of the way it goes. So as much as I don't want to see this, I think we're going to heavily see a lot of these games just be Xbox PC, and that could include things like Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. But yeah, seeing as they've got like Grounded going with Obsidian, they've got Avowed coming, they've got Outer Worlds 2 coming. They are an incredible studio. Keep an eye on them. They may even reveal more games. I feel like out of all the acquisitions, they may be one of the they're just raring to go. They really are just a absolutely on fire studio right now. Holy hell. And like you said, all Game Pass for sure. Alright, cool. So next up as well with Xbox, this is what I'm saying, there's so much coming for Xbox. We also know about State of Decay 3, right? State of Decay 3, this incredible zombie series from Undead Labs. If you haven't played one of the State of Decay games, you really should. They're great games. They had talks about doing an MMO on that. We did get a trailer for State of Decay 3 last year. Looks like it's going for kind of a snowy vibe with mutated zombie animals. I don't know how much like multiplayer this would get, but they had long been rumored about doing a full MMO in their State of Decay series, codenamed Class 4. But we'll see. I'm excited for this. You know me and zombie games, I can't get enough of them. They feel like their own genre to me, you know? Even if they release back to back, I'm like, that's cool. I would love to see Ubisoft bring back the zombie series, you know? I enjoyed the hell out of that. Really, like, had potential, but you know, Ubisoft. It's their own fault they put it on Wii U. So they probably saw a lot of small sales, even when they brought it over to PlayStation and Xbox. People didn't probably know what it was. It was kind of cool. You have to, like, check your backpack, but you also can get bitten and get in trouble while you're watching. But yeah, State of Decay. These games just keep getting better and better, and they've had unbelievable support with State of Decay 2. Like, even to this day, still releasing updates and challenges. And yeah, there's a rabid. It's ironic that a zombie game would have a rabid zombie fan base, but they really do. Like, every day I see more stuff pop up, and I've nothing but love for Undead Labs. They're really fun games. They're basically third-person open world zombie survival games. Boop. So yeah, it's cool to bring in some animals for sure. The hordes in this game were a lot of fun as well. So yeah, you can see as time goes on, I can only imagine what State of Decay 3 is going to look like. A recent rumor as well is that Hitman developer IO Interactive are working on a brand new Xbox exclusive. Believe it or not, this is crazy news. And it's codenamed Project Dragon right now. We may see something from that. We'll see. I'd be excited see what that is. Now, some people have been speculating that it could be Scalebound coming back. I don't think so. Scalebound, less said about that one, the better. Yeah. It was a Platinum Games. I wanted to play it, but a lot of stuff kind of fell out with Platinum Games. Boop. But the fact that the Hitman devs doing a Dragon Fantasy game, that's wild. That's absolutely wild to me. But I fully expect them to be able to do that. I think they're also working on a couple of... They're working on a James Bond game as well. So you can tell, once they broke away from Square Enix, they were like, this is our time, boys, you know? And it's super cool to see a developer just splash out like that. Super happy for them. Like, the Hitman games just went above and beyond. The fact that you were able to bring all the Hitman games over to Hitman 3 was genius move. And probably not an easy thing to do, but clearly these guys have got their shit together. So I'm excited for that. This is what I'm trying to say. Xbox are really popping off. Like, most of these games, will we see them in the next year? Probably not. Next 2 years, maybe. Next 3, you know, so next 3 to 5 years, it's just going to be non-stop, you know? And with the Game Pass just rising and rising and rising, it's going to be a great fucking... If you bought yourself an Xbox Series X, it's going to be a great generation. You can't really lose with either of these consoles. And the fact that, you know, you can't get your hands on one right now is not such a bad thing, because these games are... they're coming. They're definitely all coming. It's just going to take a minute, you know? I have to keep reiterating and telling people that basically game development in 2020 did not exist. You know, a lot of these studios were just completely just trying to survive the same as the rest of us. Let's see. Also, we have Perfect Dark, of course. See, look, we're still on Xbox. This is amazing. I need like an hour just for Xbox. It's wild. I'm not trying to toot the horn or anything. I can't wait to get to the others as well. But holy, you've no idea. You've no idea. So Perfect Dark is a long-running first-person series. Very, very well known. It was up there like with the greats with GoldenEye, of course. And we're... Oh my god, why is it... Was there a movie or something? What the fuck? Yeah, we're hotly anticipating the new one. This has been done by The Initiative, which is the apparent like quadruple A studio. All the talent around the industry. So far, we just got a CGI trailer for this one. Question is, will they make this third person or first person? I don't know, we'll see. They'd have to keep it first person. It looks like it's going after more of a heavy sci-fi vibe, which would be closer to Perfect Dark Zero. It's just nice to see Joanna Dark back, you know. There's a lot of great IPs from each of the studios, be it Sony, Nintendo, or Xbox, where they've kind of got lost at time, and it's foolishness, you know, because there's just incredible amount of detail, and the graphics have come so far that it's time to bring these games back with a bang. And the way Ubisoft are letting the ball kind of slip with Sam Fisher in the Splinter Cell series, this Perfect Dark game could really scratch that itch, you know, just making that nice happy doggy face when he scratches that itch. So I'd be happy. I mean, the more you know, badass female protagonists in video games, the better. This game is probably a good while off, but I'm liking what I'm seeing already, you know. If we can get the game looking anything like this, that'd be great. Hello, Snuggle, how's it going? Hello, thank you for coming in. I hope your weekend was great. I hope the barbecue went well. You guys were so nice. Friday was just popping off. I was laughing so much. It was worth missing dinner for that, let me tell you. Pooping in. Quick hello, super busy with work. No worries, no worries. I'm doing this for a good bit anyway, so it's all good. Thank you for pooping in. Pooping. So yeah, let's see, that's a good chunk of Xbox. In terms of Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which was the sequel, those guys will probably be working on another game, maybe a new IP, but that'll be a long way off, so I wouldn't expect anything from them. Let's see what else I have here. You wouldn't believe, like, the list is just like this, just for Xbox. We haven't got the Bethesda yet. Now, don't expect all these games to show up. In fact, like things like Hellblade 2 and that, as far as I know, they've said, I haven't even mentioned Age of Empires 4, which is meant to be there in a big way, coming to console, which is super nice. Like, I played the Halo Wars games, and they were fun, so strategy games can exist on console if done right, in my personal opinion. And I grew up playing Age of Empires, so I'm totally down for that. Let's see. Yeah, I was talking about Compulsion Games as well, which made We Happy Few. That's actually been out a couple of years now, so I think they're working on a big game, so I'd be happy to see something from them. Like, Xbox did go around in a spending spree besides Bethesda, and they almost bought up like 7 studios, so it would be really fun to see what's going on there, you know. Obviously, they're going to have a huge Indie at Xbox, or ID at Xbox as they call it, which is all their indie games. And now I'll finally get to Game Pass. They'll be coming with Game Pass in a big way. We've known that EA Play has joined Game Pass, and it's been long rumored about Uplay, or Ubisoft's Plus initiative, coming to Game Pass. So I think that's maybe something that might happen. Also, the rumors for Game Pass, some big games coming to it, with possibly the new Battlefield game, with Battlefield 6, or, you know, coming day one to Game Pass. That could be huge. With their collaboration with EA, I could definitely see that happening, no problem. Also, crazy little rumor that popped up, Dying Light 2. They're saying that might come day one to Game Pass. That would be insane. That would break the internet a little bit. That game is scheduled for December 7th. All people super hyped for that. If Xbox get that on the Game Pass day one, whoo doggy. That's going to be crazy. Also, Scarlet Nexus, the new Bandai Namco game. I'd heard about that coming day one. And also Tales of Arise, another JRPG. There's been a lot of collaborations with Sega and Square Enix. Phil Spencer's definitely trying to push for Japanese developer support, and they seem very happy with the Game Pass support as well. I mean, you put that on the Game Pass, you're instantly getting access to, you know, fucking 10 million plus people that might play your game, buy your game, you know. Why the hell not? Plays Age of Empires on PC. I know, right? Oh, fun. It doesn't matter if you weren't good at it. I love those games. I was all about the strategy games. It was Age of Empires and Command and Conquer. Are you kidding me? Holy. The barbecue was lovely. Didn't see you there, though. I'm sorry. I was poking in between the fence I'm sorry. Then one of the dogs came over and peed on me. Oh, it was a whole thing. But I did steal some food, so it's all good. I had a very ingenious idea. I used the clothesline, and I put one of those claw machines on it. Beep! I got myself a nice cheeky burger. Burger! It worked out flawlessly. It was like a Mr. Bean episode. There was Mr. Cubes. So yeah, that's a big chunk of Xboxes. Now on to Bethesda. I talked about it a little bit already. Obviously, people are very hungry for Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield news. I would say Starfield will be there in a big way. Boop. Now, we've got very little from Starfield. Starfield is their brand new, basically, Fallout in space. I think it's still using the creation engine. People are very, very... I know we haven't got any gameplay for this, but they're hotly anticipating this one. It feels like it should be poised to drop this holiday, but with Halo Infinite getting its time in the sun, I don't know. The rumors are that it's probably got delayed out till next year. With there being absolutely no gameplay at all shown, it makes me think that they're a little way out. Now, there have been a lot of leaked screenshots. We got to see the UI. We got to see some of the space building. So it looks like we're going to be able to build our own, space station, our own little base, and possibly our own space ship as well. So it looks like they've taken aboard everything in the base building in Fallout 4 and moved it over to Starfield. This will be nice. This will be kind of a, for them to flex their sci-fi muscles, So you're going to have Fallout when it comes to post-apocalyptic shooter. Then you've got Elder Scrolls for high fantasy. And then Starfield for sci-fi. So that's usually how companies go about these ways, They'll lock on to a genre, be it cyberpunk or something like that, and they'll go hard. They'll go hard! So that's all. This is literally the only trailer we've got from Starfield. I'm excited for it. The UI so far looks cool. With Elder Scrolls 6, it's the same thing. We've just got a cheeky logo reveal, which was in a year where they'd fucked up a lot for them to put this stuff out. It was interesting for sure. I would bet that we'd get a little bit more from each of these games, and with Starfield, definitely I would expect a full gameplay reveal. But for Elder Scrolls 6, if Starfield gets pushed back to 2022, I could see Elder Scrolls 6 being pushed back to 2024. My initial thing for GTA 6 and Elder Scrolls 6 was 2023. That was me. It was just a ballpark year that I threw out there like 2 years ago because it felt right. It was enough time, and usually when these big things are revealed, you usually can give it an estimated like 3 years. But yeah, this was revealed a good while. We'll see. I don't know what exactly is going on at Bethesda right now, their main studio, but I know a lot of them had to move over to Fallout 76 to fix it. But I just don't know what's going on. I've never seen... It feels like a bit of a mismanagement, and I think if, truth be told, if Xbox didn't, come in there and kind of save the day, who knows what would have happened. Because they were starting to fall from grace a little bit. A lot of their other teams that are part of ZeniMax were doing great, You've got Arcane, you've got Machine Games, you've got Tango Workshops, all doing fantastic in their own right. But the main studio, I don't know. I know they have a couple. But once you start to piss off the fans a little bit, that stuff kind of carries over. And it's been 10 years since Skyrim, Time has definitely come. Also, like talking on the Fallout IP, I do believe it is time for something new. Fallout 76 has left such a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. Even if it's definitely come a long way and it's doing great now. If you're playing Fallout 76, you're probably having a great time, But it doesn't change that first impression, and it wasn't really what people wanted at the time. But with the success of Elder Scrolls Online, it's clear they wanted a Fallout Online. So I was saying about the director of Fallout New Vegas working on a new game, and I would probably make a good educated guess that he may be doing something in the Fallout universe, There was also a massive rumor of them remaking Fallout 3, or remastering it at least, some kind of collection. It was rumored for Switch, but I could see that going to everything. It might be something where it might keep people happy for a while to do a sort of, remake / remaster of 3 or New Vegas, one or the other. I could see that happening as a kind of an anniversary special until we do get to the inevitable Fallout 5. Yeah, I don't see Fallout 5 coming until after Starfield and ES6, but who knows? Who knows? You know, if they can get Obsidian and Bethesda working together, that'll be huge, but there's a lot of bad blood there, you know? I don't know. They're all on the same team now, so we'll see about that. We don't really know what goes on behind closed doors, but to have like a sequel to Fallout New Vegas would be insane. Be insane! So, yeah, we'll see what's going on with Bethesda. They've also got Arcane, who are working on Deathloop, as we know. That's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, though. So don't expect to see any of that. That'll probably come to Xbox down the line. So weird, you're going to have like a Xbox Game Studio game on PlayStation. So yeah, Deathloop's a funny one. But I had heard that they're also working on a new game as well. This is the guys who worked on the Dishonored series and the Prey remake recently, which a lot of people loved. It's kind of like Bioshock in space or System Shock. But the rumor for their new game is apparently it's called codenamed Omen, and it's meant to be a vampire game, a first-person vampire game, kind of similar to Dishonored. Think like vampires. We'll see about that. Like obviously, we're all waiting for Bloodlines, the Masquerade, and all that, which keeps getting delayed. But you know, Arcane could sneak in and show that off. I'd be down for that. I really did like what they did with Prey. You know, I make enough jokes about the load screens, but the actual moment-to-moment gameplay was super fun. It kind of fucked with your mind a little bit. So I'll be excited for that. Arcane are an extremely talented team, as you can tell. So I'd be excited. I would like to see more in the Dishonored universe as well. I'd say before this generation's over, we'd probably get a new Dishonored game. Not right now, not in the next 3 to 4 years, but I'd say before the generation's over, they'd give us one last Dishonored game. Let's see, maybe they'll do a Prey 2, I don't know. But I'm excited to see Omen. Omen sounds cool. Also, we have Machine Games, who we know are responsible for the Wolfenstein series, which has just grown from strength to strength. Now, in my personal opinion, Wolfenstein Youngblood was a bit of a step back. Boop. Bum, 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 bum. I tried to discover. You can't really watch a trailer on this without signing in. Maybe this one will work. But I think it's time to show off Wolfenstein 3. They're also working on an Indiana Jones movie, if you can believe it, which is pretty cool. Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus was an exceptional first-person shooter. Not as fast-paced as something like Doom, but it never really needed to. It's just hardcore, gory, and really beautiful game as well. So I'd be down to see what they're working on. I know they're ready. We may even see Wolfenstein 3 be revealed and released this fall. I could see that happening. Their Indiana Jones game was just recently teased, so that's a long way out, you know. That'll be their next big project, but I could definitely see them doing a trilogy. Just finish out BJ Blazkowicz's trilogy for now, you know, for now. Who knows what they'll do after that. This one running around blasting fools and she's heavily pregnant. So, yeah. That's kind of cool. So, that's under Bethesda as well. Let's see. What else has Bethesda got on their team? They have so many, you no idea. Doom Eternal and all its DLC just recently came out. So, I don't know if we'll have any updates on that. You know, maybe. You never know. That was a huge game for them. The Doom series will definitely get a trilogy, another game, but that'll probably in another 2 years or so. But it sold like hotcakes. Probably one of the bigger sellers for them. Let's see, who else have they got on their team? There's so many. Tango Workshops. They worked on the Evil Within games. They're currently working on Ghostwire Tokyo, which is their new first-person game. Now, it is also an exclusive for PlayStation. It's just the way it goes. So, Xbox were nice enough to just go, yeah, it's coming to PlayStation, so be it. We're not going to fuck with that. Still think these games will come to Xbox down the line. This game looks cool. Like, obviously, we all want the Evil Within 3. And if I'm if the rumors are true, I think he may be working on an Evil Within 3 down the line as well. So obviously this is Shinji Mikami, obviously of huge Resident Evil fame, you know, incredible horror director, and this is his newest game. When I first saw this trailer, I'm like, holy, it's so Junji Ito, it's amazing. But the actual gameplay itself looks, it plays closer to something like one of these battle royales, but I think it's still like you know, single player and that. It's just super fast, like magic based kind of game. We'll see how that goes. That could work with it or against it. I don't know. I was very surprised to see the gameplay. You know how much the battle royale genre has kind of taken over and bled into a lot of different games, for better or for worse. But yeah, it's nice to see them trying something out. This one's got a lot of fanfare, so this one's coming out this year. But yeah, he has said he wanted to work on one final original IP before he retires, you know, because a lot of these directors they're getting to that retirement age, you know, in their 50s, and they've had long successful careers, and you always want to kind of go out with a bang. So the fact that he said one last original IP and he didn't mean like Ghostwire or The Evil Within is super cool. So I could see that this is probably his way of you know, with the Xbox acquisition, really kind of using a big budget to do something, you know. So I'd love to see that. I could see him putting together something on their kind of version of Silent Hill or something like that. I know Evil Within kind of is that already. I'd love to see what he could do with another Evil Within, you know, because it was definitely moving towards a Silent Hill open world vibe. You know, the first game was true kind of Resident Evil survival horror mixed with like Saw, basically. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic game. And then Evil Within 2 pushed it closer to a whole town where definitely kind of Silent Hill vibes, which was amazing. I really do love the Evil Within series. I think it's exceptional. And you know, in a world where you've got like Resident Evil doing his thing and Silent Hill trying to come back, we need more survival horror. We really do. So here's that. So I'm definitely down for Ghostwire Tokyo, and whatever he comes up with, I could definitely see that. So that'd be cool, because I think Tango Workshop's being one of Xbox's now only owned Japanese studios, which is incredible to say. You know, they try in Japan, never works out, but now they technically own a Japanese studio. It's great. It's a hell of a studio to own. You know, they really are exceptional. The horror genre has had such a renaissance, you know, since the early 2010s, thanks to YouTube and that. There's no doubt about that, you know, and things like Outlast and that, really just, and then, you know, thanks to streaming and YouTube as well. It's just, at this point, you go on any website, and Steam, any store, and the abundance of these indie horror games are just everywhere. They're not all good, by no means, you know, but it's still, this is how some great games exist, you know, by people trying. And when you see things like Visage, which I think is one of the most impressive indie horror games we've had recently, for sure. You know, it definitely took PT and ran with it. And, you know, PT will never really be a thing again, so it's nice to see Visage and things like that. Anyway, so yeah, that's Ghostwire. That's Tango Workshops. I'm excited to see what they do. I still think he's got some absolute masterpieces, horror masterpieces, left in his chamber. So I'm excited. I definitely could see him doing at least 2 more games, a fully original IP, Evil Within 3. But you know, the studio will exist beyond him, so you could definitely see maybe something like the Evil Within 3 where he'll just be like the producer on it or something like that. Who knows, while he works on his new IP. But you know, when you become part of a big studio, it's kind of like a wish come true. You get this huge budget, you know, it's like a bottomless pit. Full creative freedom. So I'm excited for that. I'm always interested in the horror space. You know, it's one of my favorite genres, and it encompasses so much. Like, people just think horror is jump scares, and nowhere near any that kind of shite at all. You know, it's so much more. There's horror comedy, there's zombies, there's gore, there's body shock horror. There's so much. You know, Japanese horror, Korean horror. There's so much. Like, Asian horror is just amazing. Some true nightmare fuel. But it's all great. It's all great. I love it. Like, even things like Five Nights at Freddy's, like that's cool as well, you know? That's a different side of horror. So that's cool. So that's Bethesda as well. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is going to be a long stream today, but that's cool. Might even break it up into pieces. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, let's see. Indiana Jones, we talked about that. Yeah, Omen, the new vampire game. Yeah, fuck yeah, it's so cool. I'm trying to think of other studios that Bethesda have. I did Machine Games, did Ghostwire, did Arcane. Yeah, the Doom guys with id Software. Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything from them. They really just went out of their way last year, and all that DLC is amazing. So, wouldn't expect too much from them. So, I think that's everything from Xbox and Bethesda's, which is huge. That's going to be Sunday. Sunday. That's going to be amazing. At the end of Sunday is just a banging day. If you want to like think of like the most announcements, it's going to be Sunday. At the end of Sunday, we're going to have Square Enix. So, yeah. Square Enix are so far and beyond. A lot of people used to just look at this studio, and if you didn't like things like Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts, you were like, oh god. But no, they own so much now. They own a crazy amount of stuff. They own things like Tomb Raider and Soul Reaver and fucking the Marvel Avengers games and Outriders and Final Fantasy and Forspoken, and yeah, it just goes on and on. So they're going to have a big presence. Theirs seem to be happening directly after Xbox, so that's going to be Sunday night's going to be popping off for sure, which is great. So so far with Square Enix, we know they've obviously been they've been a Japanese developer. They've obviously been a long-time collaborator with PlayStation. So you know, with PS5, it's going to be no different. There's already talks of multiple exclusives for PS5 coming from Square Enix. The big one, of course, being Final Fantasy 16, which seems to be going after a more medieval vibe. Looks amazing. It's been head up by the Final Fantasy 14 director. He's finally getting his own game, which is really cool. This trailer looks insane. It looks like warfare. Let me just pull it up. This one is probably just exclusive for a small time. Recently, which is pretty impressive, Xbox has been getting a lot of the Final Fantasy games and a lot of Square Enix games. It's super cool to see. I never thought I'd see the day. Me, like, growing up playing Xbox and not hoping and wishing for JRPGs. Now we are in abundance. This game looks fucking sick. I thought it was a Plague Tale for a second. I'm excited. It seems to be like sibling rivalry. A lot of cool stuff. Final Fantasy 16, I don't think it's that far out, actually. You know, they're showing it off in a big way. I could see this game launching like summer or fall of next year. I don't think we're that far out at all. We'll see. You know, the Final Fantasy series is obviously one of the longest running series out there. It's one of those things where you can just... They've got these mainline games coming. They've got the Final Fantasy 7 remake with the PS5 and Integrate version coming as well. So very, very busy. There's also rumors of a brand new Final Fantasy game done by the Neo directors. It's going to be basically Final Fantasy Dark Souls. It's called Final Fantasy Origins. Now, I've grown up with a couple of the Final Fantasy collections, and one of them was called Final Fantasy Origins. So whether it's going to be like a remake of the first ever Final Fantasy, or like a different take on it or something, I don't know. But I'm super excited. I mean, the Final Fantasy games have been shifting, as you can see right before your eyes. Shifting to action gameplay, you know, a series that long history of turn-based combat has been moving over slowly but surely. That in part definitely was thanks to things like Kingdom Hearts and that, which was a very action-oriented series. But I think it's right, you know, as the more time goes on, even me just trying to play indie games or anything with turn-based, a lot of people are turned off turn-based. Especially with this new generation that kind of want everything now, including the combat. But this looks amazing, super fast. I love the medieval vibe. I mean, I think Final Fantasy kind of excels when it does that. I don't really like when it goes too futuristic or modern. Some of the best Final Fantasies out there, the originals, and Final Fantasy 9 are just incredible, you know. 7 kind of stands on its own. That dude just got beheaded right in front of him. So yeah, this looks fucking sick. Let's see, so yeah, with Final Fantasy Origins, I'd say we'll get a nice big look at that. I know they've been working on Neo 2, that team, but to get Team Ninja on board to do that, pretty cool. I know people have wanted them to bring back Ninja Gaiden, but they're clearly on their own path right now. You could probably see a Neo 3 coming in like 2 years time or something. But it's nice to see them working with Square Enix. And you know, Final Fantasy series has always been known for giant beasts and dragons and that. So to see if we can fight them in a Dark Souls kind of setting would be amazing. Dark Souls is already quite medieval, so I think it fits perfectly. We shall see. So the other game they're working on, which kind of started off almost like a Unreal Engine showpiece, is Forspoken. Forspoken looks fucking amazing. This is a PS5 console exclusive. Same with Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy Origins. Now, whether these games will come to other systems later, we'll see. But yeah, Forspoken looks to be a mix of what we love about, say, like Final Fantasy 15 and that, mixed with more a modern kind of protagonist, you know, maybe not a modern setting. It looks like she's teleported to this magical world, but super fast. The thing that grabs you immediately is the graphic fidelity is just, oh my fucking god, it looks like one of those tech demos that never become games. Also, of course, you've got like you know, beautiful actress playing the protagonist, and doesn't hold back on the F-bombs and just speaking like a normal human, which is great. And also the traversal looks insane. It's all gameplay. So this is definitely going to be a next-gen showpiece for sure. Forspoken is its name. I called it Forsaken a couple of times, but it's Forspoken. I'm super excited for this one. I could definitely see it being something not like a full RPG, closer to maybe 10 to 12 hours, you know. Who knows? Who knows? But this one is a lot closer to release, I'd say. This one, maybe not this year, but very, very close. Maybe early next year. So yeah, we're slowly starting to see these libraries come together. You know, well, you'll definitely start to feel like you'll want a next-gen console. She's got some magic going on. Very cool. This one came out of left field for me. I'm not gonna lie. It used to be called Project Athia, I believe, or Athia, and it finally got a real name. Some games just keep look at this traversal though. Holy, some games just keep their project names, which is always kind of funny to me. Sorry, the trailer's not playing in the right resolution. Yeah, this looks really cool. The world does seem a little big, and big can mean empty, but that's not always the way. Yeah, I'm very, very excited for that one. So this one kind of what started off almost as a cool looking tech demo that you might never see become a game. Very quickly became one of the coolest ones. It's clear that Square Enix and PlayStation got together for a big old drunken dinner and was like, "Can you bring all your games to our platform? Thank you." That's wild. So yeah, lots of good Final Fantasy news. In terms of Kingdom Hearts, they just recently did that, what was it, Hearts of Melody or something like that, a rhythm game. That series is a funny one. I don't know if we'll hear anything about Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 3 took so long development. It's still a gorgeous game, but dear God in heaven, it took a long time. With Square Enix, they also have so many more developers as well. I know that Platinum Games, who work on Bayonetta and that, they're working on a brand new game with Square Enix called Babylon's Fall. That looks very cool. It's also a hack and slash. What little kind of soulsy thing going on. Alright, these trailers do not want to load for me. I'm not signed in. Anyway. Boop. Wait. Why did it go to Yuki Shop? Where? Has it been skipping itself? You cheeky beggar. I think it does. Just stay there. Might be on both actually. Anyway, so this is Babylon's Fall, which is a great name as well. I like it. And Platinum Games are incredible. I know they're working on Bayonetta 3 right now. Who knows what else? But it's nice to see this as well. This will probably come to everything, but this is right up my alley. Does this show any gameplay? A little bit. What good is a trailer? Does it show gameplay? A lot of talking today. Jesus Christ. Whew. Yeah, is there any better trailer? Good lord. Good lord. I can't sign into the other one. How about this one? No, same shit. Oh, here we go. Now this one has actual gameplay. Thank you. Anyway, the gameplay looks fucking tight. Tight as a tiger. I like a good hack and slash. I could see this game maybe coming out this year, but who knows? I mean, to show off their first trailer having so much gameplay, to me that says you're like, at that point you're a good like halfway done. People are comparing this one to Dark Souls. Much faster than that, but still. You got this cool grappling hook just popping off. Whoever recorded this, that's supposed to be 720p. Kiss my ass. See, people come to me sometimes and be like, dude, why does the trailer look so blurry? Fucking ask me, man. Ask these YouTubers. I play it at a reasonable resolution. If they want to upload it as a different resolution, that's on them. Filmed on a potato by a potato. But yeah, this is Babylon's Fall. Beautiful, lots of great like particle effects, insane combat. Jumping from Final Fantasy 16 to this, clearly you can see, holy shit, he grappled midair. You can see I'm going to have a lot of fun dying in this game for sure. Platinum Games have always been known for their insanely fast combat. That's what they're always known at. You go back and play like Vanquish, you go play Bayonetta. Like they're just insane. There was a cheeky rumor about them doing a new Okami, but we'll see about that. Bayonetta has taken them a long time, and it's mainly done for Nintendo. I think, to tell you the truth, next summer, yeah, here we go. To tell you the truth, I think the cancellation of Scalebound, which was an Xbox exclusive where you rode around this dragon, it was really cool. I think that hurt them more than you'd think. A lot of big names in Platinum Games also kind of went their own way. Like there's a guy I follow, and I followed him since he was in Platinum Games, but now he's joined EA to work on Madden, and he's just kind of doing his thing. But having Madden tweets is just like, good god. It's so weird to go from this high action paced fucking studio to Madden. Steve Madden. So there you go, maybe people just want something new. But these guys are wizards. I mean, they are some of the original creators of Devil May Cry. You know, he went on to make his own studio away from Capcom. And it was the best decision they ever made. Because now we get both. Alright, let's see. What else has Square Enix got going? I would love to see them. Eidos Montreal is meant to be having a brand new game. Now they're responsible for the Deus Ex series and other cool series like that. I would love to see a new Deus Ex. The last Deus Ex game we got was Mankind Divided. And that was back in 2016 at this point. So it's been a minute, you know, we're pushing 5 years. I have a feeling that Mankind Divided didn't sell as well as they were hoping. I didn't enjoy it as much as Human Revolution, but they're great games, you know, Adam Jensen. What's weird is that it's one of those series that the I didn't ask for this kind of, it was a meme that exploded. And people don't realize things like memes and that really do end up, you know, selling the game sometime, which is a bit odd. Because people will buy it on a meme alone. I know it's wild, but that's where we live in. So yeah, it was a good game. You know, we see a lot of games that kind of have this neo-dystopian future. Robots and people mixed together. So many games do it. Holy shit. We went all the way through. Interesting. So yeah, we could see something new from Deus Ex. I don't know. I would like that. But the rumor going around now is they're actually working on a new Guardians of the Galaxy game. So it could be a third person thing. I don't know. I get a bad feeling with Square Enix that they thought they were onto a winner with Marvel Avengers, so they got all their studios doing stuff Marvel wise. Doesn't mean they're all gonna be shit or anything, but I don't know. I think Eidos Montreal also helped out with the Tomb Raider games. People want to see a new Tomb Raider. I think it's way too early for a new Tomb Raider game. Shadow of the Tomb Raider has been out for a little bit of a minute, and good old Lara, she is celebrating her anniversary this year. So maybe we could see some kind of collection. They are heavily at work with the new Tomb Raider game. They've talked about wanting to basically bring the old Tomb Raider games and the new Tomb Raider games together with like a crossover game. I could see that happening, you know. Kind of make this Lara grow up a little bit. It could even lead them to like start remaking all those one by one, which would be you know, an easy money maker. We'll see. I love that series. It deserves some love. The old games deserve some love too. remakes, remasters, whatever they need to do. Because a lot of them are getting lost to time and bad ports on Steam. It's just not the same. The new Tomb Raider games are fantastic, but it is clear, in my personal opinion, that each one that came out, the quality was dipping a little bit, you know? They got a bit samey. And the reason for that is because they were released so fucking fast after each other, you know? They were almost released within a 2-year period on the dot, every single time. That's a bit much, you know? There's not much time to really flex your muscles. I liked Shadow of the Tomb Raider more than Rise. Rise just didn't do it for me. Boop. A lot of people love Rise though, but that's cool. If you were to put like 2013 Tomb Raider and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider after that, that would feel like a natural jump. Not Rise, in my opinion. Rise just kind of is like, now she's in snow. But the thing is, with the remake, it was such a big moment, like 2013, new consoles, all this craziness, like a Survivor Reborn. It was just so much. Like, you even had normal newspapers and stuff talking about it. And you can't capture lightning in a bottle again like that. It was a straight up survival game. It was nothing quite like it at the time, especially for Tomb Raider. So to go from that to just being like these crazy badasses, you know, there's only so much you can do. You can't just keep putting her on another, you know, island trying to survive. Boop. We'll see. We'll see. There's definitely a big future for Lara Croft, for sure. She's not going anywhere. You know, things that doesn't help as well is really shite movies. That doesn't help either. And big giraffe neck posters. These things, they bring down a brand, you know? They don't make a brand rise up. And that was another video game movie that flopped. Same with Assassin's Creed. So you can see why it takes so long for these video game movies to come out. They're scared shitless. Sonic does well, but these other two do shit. It's kind of scary. But Crystal Dynamics, who work on Tomb Raider, owned by Square Enix, they also are in charge of one very important series. A series that I would like to see come back in a big way. Bam! And that is Soul Reaver, the one and only. This was a series that was created and written by Amy Hennig of, you know, Uncharted, Last of Us fame, Naughty Dog fame. And it's an incredible series. It's part of the Legacy of Kain series, but I feel like that series really did not come into its own until Soul Reaver happened. That's also celebrating. This is an old trailer, but it's still an incredible trailer. Alright, just like this. How old is this video? But yeah, it was such a great series. I would love to see this get a remake or a remaster. It deserves it. Its time. It's one of the most well-written series in gaming ever made, no doubt. Like, it deals with so many different themes, you know. Not to mention like time, which is one of the hardest things to write and not leave loopholes and that. And I think it's done so beautifully well here. And you pit these two incredible characters. Like Kain, obviously been known from the Legacy of Kain series, and to have him as the antagonist this time was exceptionally done. I didn't have it all come together in a big crescendo with Legacy of Kain Defiance. It's just exceptional. They're great games. They're third-person action puzzle games, you know. So it was that perfect time. I played them on Dreamcast. It's super cool. Like Soul Reaver 1, then 2, then Legacy of Kain Defiance. Just amazing. Really cool. All about Nosgoth and vampires. They tried to do an MMO called Nosgoth. It failed. Tried doing another series called Dead Sun. That was a disaster. Never really came out. It's super fucking cool. Great like gothic themes. Incredible soundtrack. World class voice acting. Sadly, a lot of the voice actors have passed away. So the idea of a new one, yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But I would fully embrace a remake. That'd be great. You know, keep all the dialogue, keep everything. Just remake it. Get that camera to new standards, you know. Fucking amazing series. And the fact that they've slept on it this long is a bit of a travesty. Boop. What Crystal Dynamics are doing right now is they're fucking up Marvel Avengers. It's kind of busted from the get-go. I think once everybody saw the reveal and how scuffed all the characters looked like, there wasn't much hope. I would have delayed it from that point. I played it. It has some fun, has a lot of potential, but it reminds me of so many other games. Like it's like Anthem. It really is, where the bones are there, but the meat is not. You know, the bones are there. Like I even had fun playing as Iron Man. But I know they're not going to let go of Marvel Avengers, and the fact that it's already sold a good bit of money, or it's lost a good bit of money even, and they're going to keep it going. They're going to bleed it dry until they reimburse that kind of money. So you probably, this is the worst thing about games as a service. So you probably got another 2 years of just excruciating Marvel Avengers stuff, you know. I mean, if you're having fun with the game, that's cool, but it's clear that it's not what we wanted. There's so many great other Marvel Avengers games out there, like Ultimate Alliance 3 and stuff. And there's even talks of a new Marvel game coming, strategy-wise, like XCOM and that. We shall see. We shall see. You just hate to see like a studio working on something that clearly is destined to fail and continue to fail when they have so much like classics here and stuff that you really want. Like if they would do this, remake Soul Reaver, do it justice, it'd be huge, you know. This could be a really good like offset series for them as well, to remake these while they're working on Tomb Raider or who knows what else. Because I still think Crystal Dynamics have a lot of talent, you know. Like Christ, the Tomb Raider games are very good. It's just unfortunate everybody kind of buys into this goddamn Disney train, you know. If you were given a, you know, checks of billions of dollars, you're not going to say no, are you? Anyway, it's just unfortunate. They're also working on Outriders, which I think Outriders being its own little thing, it has a lot more potential. It had a very, very rough launch. It's made by the creators of Bulletstorm, People Can Fly. They did a great job of putting it on Game Pass day one. I think that actually saved its life. So it's kind of on life support right now. I played some of it. I enjoyed my time with it. It's a little rough around the edges, but because it's its own IP rather than Marvel Avengers, it has far more potential, in my personal opinion. You know, where you can kind of work outside the box, do your own thing. You know, with Marvel Avengers, it was destined to fail because you're not going to be able to please every fan. You're just not. I'm sorry. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. Like, Marvel and Disney fans are absolutely they can be just the most toxic motherfuckers on the planet. Because they like what they like and they don't like anything else. They're Disney stans. Brown ass people wearing Mickey Mouse ears. What the hell do you want from me? What do you want from me? So yeah, I could see Outriders getting like a big expansion or a big update. We'll see. This game, to me, this is nowhere near like the train wreck of, you know, Anthem or what's going on with Marvel Avengers right now. I think there's far more potential. I like it. It's basically, it feels like Gears of War, but with kind of like Destiny powers, but it's a third person, you know? So think of it like that. That's not a bad comparison. I enjoy it. I think when you launch a new game and you launch a new world, you're trying to build a new world, it's super tough to portray that. So most of these games, same with Biomutant as well, they fall flat when it comes to introducing the world. The development team are in such a bubble that they're working on the ending, or, you know, they're 70% into the development of the game. They forget that, you know, your tutorial and your starting area is really user unfriendly, you know. It doesn't welcome, you know, so a cutscene is not good enough sometimes, you know. This game suffers a little bit with that, I think. Like, before you know what the fuck is going on, you're moving around this little planet and it looks like no man's land, World War I, you know. And you don't really have a fucking clue what's going on at all. So it's always tough, but you gotta understand that you are selling your game to the player within the first hour, you know. And even given you a first hour, most gamers won't do that. They'll put your game down in 15 minutes. So you gotta really sell that thing. So dumping someone in this weird battlefield on a weird planet with this truck pulling up behind you, it's just not going to do it. And of course, I had a lot of launch day issues as well, so unfortunately, trying to make any head nor tail of that story while you're in between crashes is just not going to work, sadly. But I'm still hopeful. I still enjoy my time. I have more hope for Outriders than I do Marvel Avengers. And I have nothing against, like, I definitely voice a few issues I have with, you know, Marvel and Disney. That's just because it's everywhere. It's the fan base I have issue with most of the time. I actually, when it comes down to the movies, I name out a whole load that I love, and I grew up watching a lot of the early Marvel movies, which were insane. They were super cool. Now, of course, I want a great game. I mean, I played the shit out of it as much as I could, but it was clear that after doing the same missions over and over again, there was nothing left. There was nothing left there. So I know they're working on, like, the war on Wakanda, and they're probably working on a lot of other good stuff for Marvel Avengers, and I want to see them bring it back, you know. But not everybody's going to have that No Man's Sky moment where they can bring their game out of oblivion. We'll see. We'll see. And then, you know, the Spider-Man delay was a big one as well. Like, I know it's just another character, but it's just gone. No one even knows what's going on there. And then they finally put in the MCU skins, and I'm like, why didn't you fucking launch with these skins, you know? That should have been what they looked like at the start. So it's just weird little stuff that clearly a rushed game was happening, you know? It's unfortunate. Yeah, I know Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I think it's only on Switch right now, but they probably will, they don't control that, it's another studio, but I'd say that might be something that'll come to other consoles. They're great games. Alright, so I think that's everything Square Enix wise. You're going to see a lot of the games that are out now, so expect a lot of Outriders and a lot of Marvel's Avengers, and yeah. Boom. In terms of surprises, you might see like Dragon Quest 12 show up. Neo The World Ends With You, maybe. Obviously, the maybe new Guardians of the Galaxy game. I am very optimistic about that. I mean, if there's any of the teams, I kind of nearly would prefer a Guardians of the Galaxy over Avengers, personally. We'll see. Bum, 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 bum. I think it's high time Hulk gets some love. He needs his own movie and game and everything. Like, if you guys want a Hulk experience, go back and play Hulk Ultimate Destruction. Fucking amazing game. There used to be a time when we get so many great games. Now we're kind of stuck. Things like Marvel Avengers. Yeah, I would love, for me, like, yeah, they'll probably show off Life is Strange True Colors as well, which is kind of like Life is Strange 3, I suppose. Down. But I would love to see something Soul Reaver, something Deus Ex, something Tomb Raider. I'd be happy enough with that. Boom, bum, bum. Alright, cool. Let's see, what we have next? I don't need to go over some of the smaller guys too much, because we just don't know what they're doing. Oh yeah, the PC gaming show. Well, that'll be sometime on Sunday. They haven't really said any times for that yet, but that's always a good show, you know. Obviously, you probably will see a lot of VR stuff, and you know, just because it's PC. But the way I see it, like, you're gonna have a lot of indie stuff, but that stuff will come to consoles as well. So it's always worth tuning in for those. And the future game show as well. So you can see Sunday is just jam-packed. There's no way of telling what they're going to show, but it's always a good time. A lot of good interviews as well. So if you want like a deep dive on a game, it's good to check those out for sure. On Monday, there is big talks of a lot of the bigger third-party developers coming together. Things like Take-Two, who own Rockstar and that, you know. And I'm not expecting GTA 6. It's always nice to put it up there, all cheeky-beaky like. But we'll see. You know, we know that they're working on the GTA 5 next-gen version. And there was talks of different updates as well for that. Who knows? There's always rumors going around about like another bully game. Who knows? Rockstar could pull anything out of their hat. People want like another Max Payne game. I don't know if that'll ever happen. But they do own the rights to Max Payne, so it's on them. I know, Rockstar are a funny one. GTA 6 is still a long way away, but there was recently a rumor about them adding their own cryptocurrency into the game. Its own little GTA cryptocurrency. It could be interesting. The fact that those little rumors slip out means that, you know, it's in a playable state, which is good. Because I feel like with GTA 6 a lot of the time, or GTA in general, the story tends to be done pretty quick. That's why you'll have a lot of these like cultural references and jokes. You're like, damn, even when it comes out, it might be a little bit old. The internet moves fast. Bam! I can't wait for the yeah, there's so many remasters at this point. It's getting into Skyrim levels. But I mean, I could name out over a dozen games that have done that. It's just ridiculous. Some of them is like, oh, okay. Like, even Dying Light, like, the Dying Light's the fucking Jesus Christ. It's like 7 different versions at this point. It's ridiculous. And now the Platinum version. Do you realize they did a 5-year anniversary version of Dying Light not 3 months ago? For fuck's sake. It's probably a year ago at this point. No, in my brain. But it felt like it was not that long ago. Yeah, so with Take-Two and 2K, they also have, you know, different IP like the Mafia series, you know, and we just recently got the Mafia Definitive Edition, which was a brilliant remake of the first game. So who knows what they'll be working on. That's Hangar 13. The rumor going around is apparently they're working on a new open world sci-fi game, which has been called Saints Row meets Cthulhu. We'll see about that. Codename Volt. But I would like to see them working on new Mafia as well. They also own the IP of Bioshock as well. We know Bioshock 4 is long rumored, been developed by a new company called Cloud Chamber, doing their own little thing. That's still a little while off, but who knows? You might see some of it. Could it be the year to show it off? Could be a next year game. We don't know. Where will Bioshock go next? Glad they're finishing off. Obviously, we talked about Borderlands. They own that series too with the new Tiny Tina spin-off game Wonderlands. See how that goes. Let's see. Oh yeah, they also are in partnership with Ken Levine, the original creator of Bioshock. He's off doing his own thing. He's got a new company called Ghost Story Games, and you know, he's been long rumored to be working on that. This could be the year for that as well. You know, I would expect something, you know, like AAA indie, if that makes any sense. But who knows? I doubt he's gonna go after something so close to Bioshock. You know, I think he wants to leave that behind him. Yeah, we're talking about the Marvel game. It's going to be like a strategy game, like XCOM, turn-based, top-down. That could be interesting. So yeah, they've got a lot to show off. Who knows about Rockstar though? Who fucking knows? But they'll probably get some GTA trailer in there. Like Sony started one of their, it was their next-gen E3 State of Play, and it started off with a 7-year-old game. It's fucking hilarious. Swear to God. See Trevor get shove a leg down toilet in 4K. Yeah, that might be the only reason I'll play it. I don't even know if they're gonna bring the story over. But I don't know. A lot of people love GTA 5's story. That's cool. I just think, like, looking back in the old ones, it felt like 3 kind of splintered, half-finished stories. But still fun. That's why GTA Online. Like, I've seen people who have bought GTA 5, right, for GTA Online, never fucking played the fucking story ever. I'm like, damn. There you go. As for Capcom, I mean, they're riding high right now. Jesus Christ. Resident Evil Village is selling like hotcakes. And rightly so. It's an incredible game. Would we see anything Resident Evil this E3? I don't know. I think, like, they're rumored to be making a Resident Evil 4 remake, but that's a long way off, I'd say. We might see DLC for Resident Evil 8. If there's going to be DLC, now would be the fucking time to show it. But it's still not that long since it's launched, so they may need more time. They're not too fussed. Not too fussed. They also are working on all the Monster Hunter games. Monster Hunter Rise just came out, selling like crazy. They have Monster Hunter Stories 2 coming out. Monster Hunter World as well, maybe Monster Hunter World 2. So yeah, that series is massive for them. What I would like to see them do is just blow everybody away with a Dino Crisis remake announcement, you know. Just completely out of left field. They're obviously rolling in the dough right now. The Ori engine is really paying off dividends. Beautiful engine. Would love to see them license it out to other developers. We'll see. Yeah, Capcom doing fucking amazing. That would be the number one for me, is a Dino Crisis remake. Even if it's just a logo, I don't give a fuck, man. I'd lose my shit. It's super cool. What else are Capcom working on? Devil May Cry. Interestingly enough, Devil May Cry. They just recently did a special edition of Devil May Cry 5 on next-gen consoles. So that kind of will tide them over. Probably working on a new one of them. I think that series sold pretty well. It still is selling pretty well. But that's probably a long way off. I'm trying to think of other... they're doing a lot of remasters of their old kind of indie stuff, which is cool. Like was it Ghost and Goblins and that Capcom collections, arcade collections. Yeah, they're doing pretty good. Anything from Capcom would be great. Anything at all. I'm pretty happy with them. The only thing their little anniversary they did was a little lackluster. They've just been adding their characters into random games like Dead by Daylight and Leon Kennedy coming to Rainbow Siege 6. So you might see stuff like that, which is always just shite in my opinion. You don't keep those kind of announcements for E3. We're adding Leon Kennedy to Rainbow Siege 6. It's like, okay. Just tell someone, tell anybody on Twitter, it's fine. This is the big time, you know? You saved those big babies for now. You've got the world stage staring at you. It's like saying, here, I brought some Bazooka Joe for everyone in the audience. Like, what the fuck? Anyway. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, what they're doing with that, yeah, I think that was a great idea. They seem to be doing that with GTA. It's just, will they bother with the campaign on next gen? Red Dead Redemption 2. I had heard... now they're putting Red Dead Online on next gen. I had heard that they were trying to remake the first Red Dead Redemption and do like a collection of Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, but 1 having basically been, you know, remade with the second game's engine on next gen, you know. And I could see it happening maybe. Like what they did with Mafia was super cool. Mafia Definitive Edition. I could see it happening. I think it'd be a no-brainer. It might be easy cash too. But I just don't know. Rockstar is so funny like that. They're just so funny. Because like, right now, it's even been a minute since we've had Red Dead Redemption, right? Was Red Dead Redemption 2019 or 2018? Jesus Christ. Good God. So yeah, time is just flies. Just flies. That's such a great game though. I would be so down to play that again on next gen. I know like it's a very special experience, so it'd be kind of hard for me to play it again. But with all the bells and whistles, I'd be down. The thing I've noticed about these games, and a lot of games in general, is how DLC seems to be shrinking all over the place. It's like maybe they're just not getting enough money back. But yeah, like Rockstar just don't give a fuck about DLC anymore. This is coming from so much of the original Red Dead's DLC, and then Undead Nightmare, and then GTA, like getting things like, you know, fucking episodes of Liberty City, which were like 2 little extra games on their own. What has happened? What has happened? Too much money. That's all it is. Too much money. Character models and map already made. I would love a Red Dead 1. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the idea. We'll see. That's just a big dirty rumor for now. But I think that'd be easy money. And then what they could do is, if they're both like on the same download or whatever, you could just finish Red Dead 2 and roll straight into Red Dead 1. Just like, what the fuck? You know? How cool would that be? How cool would that be? Like an actual like fluid all together. Be amazing. That'd blow my head. I mean, you already kind of get that feel anyway. Alright, cool. We're kind of closing up things now at this point. Definitely the longest of the daily dose, but it's important. I was going to split them all up, but I was like, I'll never get it done. It's all good. I'll do it myself. Alright, cool. So yeah, we've gone over most of it now. So for Tuesday, kind of closing things out, is Nintendo. They'll be doing their little treehouse. And it looks like they've got a lot to show here. I think these guys will probably be number 2. Like Xbox, I'm probably most excited for. Nintendo is a very close second. Now, there's been long rumored of a Switch Pro coming this fall. I still think it'll be early next year, but it seems to be this fall. Now, they said they're not going to show it at E3. They said that this E3, this treehouse is for Nintendo software only. But they might just reveal the Switch Pro, like, before E3. We'll see. There's rumors flying all around. The rumor for the Switch Pro is that it's going to be like a 7-inch screen, 4K. It's going to be like right to the edges of where the Switch is now. Obviously, updated graphics, updated resolution, frame rate, all that good stuff. Seems like you may be able to use the old Joy-Cons with the new system. I don't know if you'd want to with all the fucking drift going on. But yeah, I mean, to me, I don't see a reason to launch the Switch Pro unless you've got a really hot lineup of games for it. That's why I'm saying it might be better to leave it till, you know, March next year. That would be the 5-year anniversary of the Switch. Because we know we're all desperately waiting for Breath of the Wild 2, and that is not ready for this year. But I would like to see it launch with the Switch Pro. It would be a huge, like, seller. It's going to sell anyway. Like, it's Nintendo we're talking about here. But so far, the only thing they have for this fall is Pokemon. The Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remake. In July, we've got The Legend of Zelda. Then we got Pokemon Legends Arceus in January of next year. And a lot of these games are going to obviously play better, look better on the Switch Pro. Now, if the rumored $399 for the Switch Pro is true, it's going to be a bit of a hard sell, that's for sure. But people are still clambering and trying to get their hands on Switches, like on Switch Lites. This has been going on all year long. You know, so many celebrities jumping on the streaming and Switch bandwagon as well, you see, so, because they're all stuck inside, so you have to invade in our fucking space. You don't see me trying to make a movie out of my butthole, do you? Damn it! Damn it, Alison Brie! Stay in your lane, bitch! Ah, no, she's alright. She's alright. It brings more focus to video games in a good light, so I'm all for it. Better than these shitheads talking about violence in video games and all that. Anyway. So yeah, when it comes to Switch, obviously, now is the time to show Breath of the Wild 2. Now is the fucking time. They kind of teased us, a little bit of cock teasing earlier on when we had the director of Breath of the Wild come on and go, I have nothing to show, I apologize, and then walk off. It was the weirdest thing ever. Like, why even come on at all? So yeah, the hotly anticipated sequel, it's going to be a lot darker. Sounds like they're going to be using the same world, so yeah, that's really cool. Like, a lot of changes obviously, but for them to be able to use the same world kind of cuts down a little bit on years and years of development. But we are coming up on years and years, you know. We are now 4 years since the launch of Breath of the Wild, so now's the fucking time, as Lucy Liu once said. Hell yeah. Let's see, yeah, I would like to see something else in the Legend of Zelda space. It is now the 35th anniversary, and Mario definitely got his collection and then some. So far, all we have announced is the Skyward Sword HD, which to any, like, you know, diehard fans is a bit of a cop-out if that's all we get, you know. So if they drop the ball and we don't get some form of a collection, I think it would be very bad form for Nintendo. I don't see it being so hard to get a cheeky little 35th anniversary collection together. Like things like Twilight Princess and Wind Waker have already got a HD version on Wii U, so even just a direct port would be great. But anything at all, I would love to see Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask also got remakes on the 3DS. Beautiful remakes, both fantastic. Both easily brought over to the fucking Switch. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, we got a nice 3D All-Stars with Mario. They weirdly took that off the market for some reason. But I'd like to see that done with Zelda, you know. At the very least, they might have just be too jam-packed, but I think it'd be foolish to miss out on this, you know. Especially with the Switch selling as hot as ever. Because, as we know, like, when you launch another system, it doesn't always work in your favor. It doesn't always equate to, you know, instant sales. Like, sometimes a hardware refresh can fuck everything up. It can derail a company. So when you have things like the DSi, the DS, there was just so many of them at one point. People just were like, yeah, okay. So yeah, you can see. Now, I don't think the Switch Pro is going to do that, but if this launches, you are going to have a thing where you'll have the Switch Lite, the Switch base original, whatever you want to call it, and then the Switch Pro. So you're going to have a lot of options already. So you have to be careful. You can splinter your audience very quickly. You don't want things like Switch Pro exclusive and all that bollocks. This is what happened with the Wii and the Wii U and the Wii Motion Plus and all that. That's splintered. You splinter your fan base, you splinter your audience, and they drop off. They don't buy your shit, they drop off. So yeah, it'd be nice to see that happening with Legend of Zelda. Some lovely Zelda love would be great. There's also massive rumors surrounding Metroid in general. We know that Metroid Prime 4 is long time coming. Hopefully we get to see something with that. It'd be great to get like a Switch Pro trailer for that. It's been changed hands a couple of times, but hopefully we'll see. And I thought which would be perfect, a Metroid Prime trilogy. To release that would be great to get everybody up to speed. They're fantastic first-person shooters, and in my personal opinion, they are the you know, the Halo FPS of Nintendo, basically. You know, nowhere near as good as Halo, but in terms of you know, Nintendo not known for FPSs, the Metroid Prime series is pretty impressive. And Samus is amazing. There's also rumors of a 2D Metroid coming as well after the success of Samus Returns, which kind of got, unfortunately, released a little bit late into the life cycle of the 3DS. It'd be nice to see something happen there. This is what I was saying to a lot of people, but how incredible it is for Nintendo to have these huge flagpole mascots that both have 2D series and 3D series of them, you know. Mario's 2D and 3D, Zelda's 2D and 3D, and Metroid is 2D and 3D. That's huge! No other developer can do that stuff, and I've never tried. They're too afraid. Nintendo kills it. Now with Mario, we know we've got Mario Golf Super Rush that's coming out. There's also probably a rumor of Super Mario Party 2 coming out. In terms of a actual fully fledged mainline Mario game, it is also 4 years since Mario Odyssey. I'd love to see a new one, but I don't know. I think this year they're actually going after Donkey Kong. I think this year is Donkey Kong's big anniversary. There's rumors of a brand new 3D Donkey Kong game coming. We haven't had one of those since Donkey Kong 64, which is kind of crazy. We'll see. We shall see. That would be amazing. I think Donkey Kong with the Tropical Freeze and Donkey Kong Returns, it'd be awesome to see him get. The only issue with that game, it had a lot of bad press, and it wasn't the easiest game to make. It was right around the end of the relationship with Rare and Nintendo, and you could tell they were kind of phoning it in a little bit, you know. They also did like Star Fox Adventures, which was other game, was called Dinosaur Planet or something. Don't ask. It was a weird time in Nintendo for sure. But I think this is going to be an amazing E3. It's meant to be 40 minutes long, and it'll just be pure gaming, absolute pure gaming. You're going to see things like Splatoon 3 as well. And if it's all software, they're going to leave all them goodies for the Switch Pro on its own. So yeah, you know, Nintendo have always done their own thing. They've always, you know, moved on to their own directs, whether it's like partner directs, mini directs, software directs, console hardware directs. It's crazy, but it really works out for them. That whole day, people just talk about it. So yeah, it's cool. In terms of Super Smash, I think they've got room for another 1 or 2 more characters, so they're probably going to go out with a big bang, like something like Master Chief or something. They've been talking about like the director of the Smash series retiring, but I don't think he's going to retire at all. But he's also known for the Kirby series as well, hence why Kirby's always front and center in Smash. So maybe we'll get a new Kirby game. That could be cool. Oh yeah. Smash is just an insane like seller, so it'll never stop. I'd love to see something else with Mario Kart as well, because it's been too long. They've been selling like hotcakes Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but that's nearly like a 7, 8, 10 year old game at this point. It's crazy. Bayonetta 3 as well, yeah, we'll see that from Platinum Games. That should get a big movement. Pikmin 4 has been a long time rumored in development. We just got a Pikmin 3 Definitive Edition. So yeah, it all comes down to when do they want to talk about it. Nintendo have been doing their own thing so long that they might not talk about a game like Pikmin 4, but then have it direct for 2 months down the line or something, you know. So it really is just up to them. But exciting times. This is a time for Nintendo to really go out of the way and push, because with the new consoles, PS5 and Xbox, not being easy to find, now is the time to, you know, get as much of that as you can, because once, you know, something like next year pushes on, you're going to have a really, really big 3-horse race, and you're going to see all of them kind of lose a little bit of sales as one goes over the other. It's very hard to own all 3, let alone own 2 of them, you know. So a lot of people want to go PC and a console, or you know, Switch and a PC. I don't know, you know, that kind of way. So we'll see. That's why I'm saying it seems like a little bit of an awkward time to do a console refresh when people are still trying to find a PS5 and Xbox Series X. Now, obviously, this was not meant to be the way to do it, you know. We're not expecting these kind of setbacks with the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Hence why I think like next, you know, spring 2022 would be much better. But anyway, it's all good. It's all good. We'll see. I'm super excited. Nintendo are gonna kill it as usual. All right, on to the last one. The guys who never show up, Sony. Good old Sony. So Sony don't go to E3 anymore. They haven't gone for like 2 years now. Probably 3. They usually like to do their own state of play. Boop. But that does not mean that they're resting on their laurels. PS5 is now selling more, even with the supply constraints, selling more than the PS4 did. And we know how that went. There's over 120 million PS4s out there. It was long since rumored that one of their big flagship titles and flagship studios, Naughty Dog, are now working on a brand new IP. Not long after The Last of Us Part 2, they're meant to be working on a brand new first-person sci-fi game called Strays Cross. And it's going to be like Portal meets like fucking Mass Effect or something. It's crazy looking. Absolutely crazy looking. Jumping around the place. Strays Cross. We'll see about this. Obviously, they're going to have The Last of Us Part 2, you know, PS5 updates. There's been talks of the factions multiplayer. There's been talks of a DLC to go along with it. We'll see. They have said they didn't want to do DLC, but trust me, you do not believe anything that comes out of any of these devs' mouth. Last of Us Part 2 is one of those interesting games that really did have a strange reception for sure, you know. The hardcore fan base very split between genuinely hating it and it being the greatest piece of media they've ever consumed. Me personally, I think it was very brave storytelling. Do I think it came true in the end? Probably not. No, I think chronologically, I think the story's a mess. But it's a very brave story, you know. It's a story very much of a coin. You know, it's the Batman and Joker. Good versus evil. I thought it was interesting, you know. Yeah. But I would replay it, for sure. But I think chronologically, I think it's an absolute mess. I think they were so fixated on trying to pull off something they did in the first game that they just shoehorned it in a little bit, you know. They are still masterclass in storytelling, but I think it was a little bit of a knock that they needed because just like Cyberpunk and with CD Projekt Red and that, these developers need an ego check every now and then, you know. No one wants to see a developer do bad, you know. If a developer's doing good, we do good, we get great games. No one wants to see that happen, but sometimes little ego jumps up. So this is the original Uncharted 4 trailer back in E3 2014. Now that would have been the year directly after the launch of the PS4, you know, which I consider the E3 after a console launches is that moment to go, this is what we can do, motherfucker, you know, that kind of way with the new technology. So I believe that this E3 should be that year, you know. We've now seen Horizon Forbidden West really just blow us out of the water, but I really do think that it is time for God of War, Ragnarok, or whatever you're going to call it, to really, really blow us out of the water. And I think it's possible. Now, I don't think, we know that God of War got delayed. I knew, like, with or without that delay, I knew it was 2022. There's no doubt in my goddamn mind. Now, the real question I've been asking all week long is Horizon Forbidden West gonna make it this year? You know, my initial idea of the launch date would be around October, but I just don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of wordage coming straight from Sony that's basically beating around the bush, saying we want to give the developers enough time, and I'm down for that, you know. But there's transparency, and then there's kind of like PR transparency, which is like we'll say exactly what we want to say without saying anything at all. And yeah, if it happens, it happens. I think what's going on with Sony right now is they pushed and pushed as hard as they could to get all those great games out for the launch of the PS5 and did a great job. But now we're feeling that kind of breathe in moment, you know, when a dev breathes out, they release all these great games, but when they breathe in, you're going to have a little bit of downtime. So I do believe you'd have that kind of moment where they were kind of relying on a few of the older first party games being pushed onto PS5 to kind of keep things going, right? Like, if you think about the launch of the PS5, you've had Demon's Souls remake, you had Spider-Man Miles Morales, Sackboy, you know, things like that. Just it was a really good launch. And then you had that huge PS Plus collection, so you're immediately going to play things like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Days Gone, all on 60 frames, and it's really special. Really good at them, you know. So, like I said, and I'll say it again, there is absolutely no need to genuinely own these consoles right now. If you want to wait another year, I think you'd be a very wise person. That's why I definitely urge everybody not to pay these fucking scalpers. Like, do not do it. I enjoy the console. I love it. I didn't have a PS4 Pro, so I felt the upgrade. But anyone with a PS4 Pro may not feel that upgrade as much. But yeah, God of War, we may get some gameplay, you know. I talked about one of my favorite E3 moments of all time was the original, the God of War 2018 reveal with the orchestra. It was just incredible. Like, obviously, everyone loves the Final Fantasy VII moment, the Last Guardian moment. They were great too, but nothing just compares that orchestra leading in. So, we'll see about that, you know. We'll see about that. I would definitely see them do a little bit more surrounding Horizon Forbidden West. You know, we did get a great state of play and a lot of gameplay there, but it was clear that, you know, it was a very small slice. So there's a chance, they've already talked about a lot of stuff, so there's a chance we may not hear anything. Sony are showing up at a lot of things like the Summer Game Fest, the IGN Expo, so, you know, there will be nothing like shy of Sony showing up. You're going to have a lot of console exclusives. Now, whether it'll be first party stuff, I think they'll keep that for themselves, but yeah, trust me when I say there are so many great Sony games coming. They've already talked about there being like, what was it, like 21 first party games? Let me get that article. It was insane. Yeah, so they're heavy at work, you know. Let me see. Beep boop beep. The issue I would have, you know, the only thing that would worry me a little bit about Sony is how much they're focusing on movies and TV shows. So that's a lot of like revenue going into somewhere you might not necessarily want them to do it, you know. Something like that Uncharted movie, Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, that could be, you know, in the budget range of 300 million. But if it does well, if these movies do well, that's billions of dollars back in their pocket. So it's a risk versus reward thing. Yeah, 25 first party PS5 only games coming, right? And it said over half of those are brand new IPs. So that's impressive. And then things like the Sony Bend, the Days Gone developer, are now working on a brand new IP. You've got Insomniac bringing out Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, but they're also working on a new Spider-Man, and who knows, Sunset Overdrive was just recently, the IP was just recently trademarked by Sony, you know, so you could see a remaster of that or a sequel, which would be amazing. Insomniac, to me, Insomniac are this incredible developer that I'm so glad that they're, you know, doing their thing, kicking ass. I'm glad their future is secure for a long time. To me, they're like Ninja Theory over at Xbox. They just have this incredible talent for different genres, different style games, you know. Just so important, you know. I don't get too happy about a developer who just does the same thing over and over again. Bores the tits out of me. Like, I'd love to see 343, the Halo devs, do something else. I'd love to see the Gears of War guys go back and do that Shanghai game. I'd love to see it. You kidding me? Because these are very talented developers dealing with huge games worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Give them the flexibility, give them the creative power to make whatever the hell they want. Trust me, you will be rewarded. So yeah, Sony are definitely the lead in first party games, without a shadow of doubt. This is what's kept them going for, you know, so long. And see God of War back doing this thing is amazing. I'm down for whatever they got to show. I just don't see them. They may do some kind of state of play, but I just don't see them coming in a big way. But I know the God of War Ragnarok is coming. I know like Horizon Forbidden West is coming. We've got like 3 big Square Enix exclusives: Final Fantasy Origins, Forspoken, Final Fantasy 16. Then you've got like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. Like, the list goes on and on. It's crazy. So yeah, we are definitely not stuck for video games, that's for sure. But yeah, Sony is the big what if for sure this year. Nintendo has their shit together a bit better than Sony right now, but we'll see how that goes. Hell yeah, let's see, is there anything else to talk about at the end? I think we're pretty much there. The only other thing I was talking about was the Bandai Namco Next, which is their little state of play kind of thing, their little live stream. Everybody wants to know about, let's be honest here, right at the end, everybody wants to know about Elden Ring, you know, From Software's new baby. Usually they'd show that at Xbox, we might see it there. Apparently that huge leak that happened has got the whole studio severely pissed off. They pulled all of the reveal, but they said, you know, they wouldn't show up at E3, but that didn't mean they won't show up at Bandai Namco's live stream. Bandai Namco, they are a publisher for a lot of great developers like CD Projekt Red with Witcher. We might see like the Witcher next gen remaster. We might see Cyberpunk have its, you know, relaunch at this point. You know, it's still, you still can't buy it on the PlayStation Store. It's fucking crazy. Boop, it's been like 5 months. So yeah, we'll see about that. Elden Ring, I mean, it's probably next year. It's gonna be a great game. It sucks that the leak has pissed Miyazaki off so much, but you know, it happens, unfortunately. So it could show up there, definitely, because they usually publish that as well. They also have like Scarlet Nexus. Who knows what else? Like Bandai Namco are huge, and they've been doing really good. Really good. I mean, I'd love to see them do something else after that. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, that was fucking amazing. I'd love to see them do something else like that. There's so many great anime games, like, and they're not just like all fighting games either, you know? Like what they did with One Piece World Seeker. It's a whole ass open world game. So cool. So yeah, like, keep an eye out for your favorite anime. It may just get a badass video game. That's super cool. So we are very blessed, you know. That's why I try and tell people we are this laundry list of predictions. This is the longest prediction stream I have ever done. About this will tell you the amount of video games that are in development. This industry is bigger than ever. There are more people playing. There's more money. There's more everything. It's never been bigger than it is now. It's never been a better chance to be a gamer than right now, because you are blessed on all sides. And I can't wait. So that is all. I've pretty much not only talked about predictions there, but I've probably outlined all of the streams, all of their streams. Yeah, so it is what it is. We'll see what checks out and see what comes true. We'll see if these rumors hold together. But this E3 2021 is going to be a special one, boys. Hold on to your lug nuts. I'm excited. I am damn excited. That's all going to be June 10th. I hope you guys will join me. We'll be starting with the Summer Game Fest with Jeff Keighley. Some good announcements. Possibly the Borderlands spin-off game. Who knows? Who knows? It's going to be an amazing week, an amazing weekend. I hope you'll join me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here with the Daily Dose Special Edition. Special E3 2021 edition. Very, very nice.